your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Alan Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. That's still how Alan starts this thing, right? Welcome into the Alan Stiles Show. Still no Alan Stiles for the next couple weeks. He's on his paternity leave. Shout out to Alan and his family. All reports are all good, so love to hear that. I'm sure he had a wonderful weekend knowing he didn't have to come in today. He can enjoy himself, enjoy some football. We had a crazy Saturday. Just an absolutely action-packed Saturday. College football, of course, had one of the biggest fights of all time in Canelo and Crawford. I would love – I'm assuming today we'll get more official numbers on how many people viewed that fight on Netflix, but I believe from what I saw yesterday, the early indications are upwards of 65 million people globally watch that fight, which is just absolutely insane. And yeah, maybe if we have time, we'll just talk about, I know maybe, what do they say? 2 for me, 1 for you or whatever. No, 2 for you, 1 for me. Maybe I know Alan is always super interested in more of the, back end stuff of media and that conversation. Maybe we'll have some time today, which honestly might not happen because we do have a action-packed, loaded show full of stuff to talk about today. But if we have some time, maybe we can get into more of the, where are we with the state of media, with the state of being a sports fan, really, with the NBA about to kick off their Peacock coverage and NBC coverage and, the Netflixification of all these live sports and all that stuff. So maybe, again, if we have time, hopefully later in the show, we can get into it. But we're going to start off talking a little bit of Sunday Night Football. Of course, we're going to talk some Niners as they get the win in New Orleans. Give you my thoughts on one Mac Jones who stepped in and stepped up, to get the Niners the win against Spencer Rattler and the Saints. We're going to dive into an ESPN article about what they believe the biggest hole in the Kings roster is heading into the season. I don't hate what they gave us, but I'm not sure, and Kyle and I will have to talk through it, if that truly is the biggest hole on the roster. I think there's definitely a lot of question marks just with how this team has been structured and built out. I definitely think there's some conversation there as to what exactly is the most glaring hole on this Sacramento Kings roster. So we'll get into that more so towards 11. We want to start with some football. But of course, we have to talk about Dennis Schroder as well, him winning the Eurobasket MVP. And of course, as we talked about quite a bit on Friday, which if you didn't listen to our Friday show, a little forecasting, dare I say, with we didn't talk about Jonathan Kuminga intentionally. Today we have tons of updates on the Jonathan Kuminga front, where things stand with him in the Warriors, where things stand with him in the Sacramento Kings. So a lot of fun stuff, if you could say that, with Jonathan Kuminga and where things stand with him. But let's get into some football talk. Again, we're going to try and lean football for this first hour and then kind of get into more of the King conversation, starting with Sunday Night Football. As since I am hosting today, I feel like it's my duty and obligation to start with Sunday night and my Minnesota Vikings laying a dud, frankly. I mean, that was a terrible game as a fan of one of the teams, but also just as a neutral observer. Not a whole lot to get excited about. Shout out Parker Romo, but 5 field goals from the Falcons to start that game wasn't super exciting. The Vikings started this week how they started last week against the Bears on Monday night. Incredibly flat, looking, as painful as it is to say, kind of like a joke of an offense, which is the last thing I would have expected with just the playmakers that they have out there. I think it's a little bit too early to hit the panic button, but today I've seen quite a few people ready to already call J.J. McCarthy's career a bust and saying that he's got nothing left to prove because we already know what the outcome's going to be. It just feels way too overreaction to me. I mean, we are 2 games into J.J. McCarthy's career right now. He's had to have, if I have to make an excuse, both of those games being primetime games is brutal. I mean, that's just not something that happens for a rookie quarterback. And I know he's in a little bit of a special situation because this is, You know what I still haven't figured out, actually? I guess this is still technically J.J. McCarthy's rookie year. He missed all of last season with the ACL injury. I was in Chicago, as I stated, last week. I was trying to find J.J. McCarthy rookie of the year odds. They cannot be found. They cannot be found. And so if anybody has any sort of sportsbook or anything like that that has J.J. McCarthy in their rookie of the year, I would just love to know because I think that he's still got a shot to make some noise for that award. But I think it's just too early. I mean, again, two primetime games, Sunday night and Monday night. I think that's just a really tough spot for him to go. And if this game would have happened at 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock on Sunday, I just don't know if we're having those kind of conversations. I don't know if people care that much. I think that this is still a guy who's growing into his offense. Obviously, look, I'm not naive enough to say that this looked good in any shape or form. Like, the offense does not look good. I blame it on the offensive line more so than anything because that it just feels like, with Christian Darrisaw out, they had a couple injuries to their interior offensive line. I think their center went down yesterday as well. I'm blaming it more so on that. I'm blaming it more so on that. And on the Falcons front, I wrote, we all remember, maybe not all, but Sacramento Kings center last year, Orlando Robinson. I think I'm going to name one Bijan Robinson. He can be Atlanta Robinson. How about that? Because he's their team. He is their team. Bijan Robinson, I don't know what to do with Bijan right now. I mean, obviously so much hype around him coming into the draft. He was the fourth pick in the draft. And, that's been reserved for guys like Saquon, guys like Ezekiel Elliott. And impact-wise, it doesn't feel like Bijan's been that guy. But watching him play last night, and maybe it is just this is the most shine that he's gotten because he's had Desmond Ridder and Kirk Cousins for half the season last year, and they were terrible. But it feels like Bijan Robinson is really starting to be a thing. He rushed for 143 yards last night. Was the Falcons' offense? I think I saw he accounted for just under 50% of the team's total production in terms of yards. He was incredible. I mean, he was just absolutely unstoppable. And, that's why if you're a bad team, it is risky to go out there and get that running back. But, man, you just see how helpful it can be. And if Michael Penix, who I think looked okay yesterday, he looked, like he was struggling to get into a real rhythm. The Vikings defense does really good in limiting those kind of massive chunk plays. But I thought he did a good job. Kyle Pitts was alive and well. We got to see Kyle Pitts for that first quarter. But yeah, mainly it was all Bijan Robinson for Sunday Night Football. And it was, again, just a dud of a game. And if you're the Vikings, I hope you just flush it. Falcons, I'm just not sure what to do. I mean, that entire division is so bad. I mean, the Panthers, they look terrible. Everyone who tried to get back on the Bryce Young hype train, I think immediately should be off.
I mean, Bryce Young was fine. It's just the rest of the team was
so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they just yeah.
That defense was insane. I was watching a little bit of that. Like,
nothing.
There was a play at the end of the first half where, there were 9 seconds left. They were at the 20-yard line. So they put 4 safeties back, to try and stop. They had no timeouts. Receivers just ran right past the safeties, scored a touchdown. I was like, Jesus, Carolina, this is just pathetic.
They've been terrible. I mean, yeah, they look like they're going to be fighting with the Saints, frankly, for maybe the worst team in the NFL, but just really bad. That entire division. I don't know which way I'm leaning. I guess if we'll see how the Bucs look tonight. They play the Texans tonight.
I mean, the Bucs beat the Falcons.
Right. So there you go. So it feels like that is definitely one of the worst divisions. And frankly, the Niners, as we've talked about with their easier schedule, thankfully they will be playing the NFC South this season. And that can get us right into how the Niners game went yesterday. It was, I think going into the game, Niners fans felt cautiously optimistic. Which is funny because we'll get into the opposite of that when it comes to Brock Purdy. But I think it felt like the Niners had a little bit of for lack of a better term, a quiet confidence going into this game, even though they were going to be down all the players that we all know. Trent Williams did end up suiting up on Sunday. It was still, I think they still felt like they had enough to get it done. And that's pretty much what bared out is, Christian McCaffrey was still able to kind of have enough explosive plays. Fred Warner, I mean, I don't know how much I could say about Fred Warner, how much more I should say that I can say about one Fred Warner. That dude just consistently, and I think it's been the past 2.5 seasons, has been the best defender, or, pound for pound, I guess, one of the best defenders in the entirety of the NFL. That punch out he had yesterday on Alvin Kamara was absolutely incredible. You see Bosa get another game-clinching sack for the most part. The defense, I think, eventually did their job. I was a little bit worried, frankly, especially when you look at the final score, allowing 21 points to that Saints offense isn't great. It's pretty Alvin Kamara reliant. I will say, I want to call him Juwan Jennings. Juwan Johnson, I believe it was, their tight end, had a couple drops that could have made that game a lot more interesting. He then kind of weirdly, as it always seems to work out, he drops 2 really easy ones, but then catches a beautiful ball, just kind of going one-on-one with one of the Niners DBs. Made a beautiful catch, but it just felt to me, a little bit worrisome. I think, again, it's tough on your defense when your offense isn't really rolling. I think the Niners' numbers by the end of the game maybe look a little bit better than how it felt in the moment. Not that it is as if the Niners' offense was super stagnant. It just, you could tell, I mean, there was another gear for that offense to get into. I thought Mac Jones held the ball way too long on a ton of occasions in the first half. Maybe it's just him getting into a rhythm. But I just really felt like that was the moment where I understood why Mac Jones has kind of, since his Patriots tenure, he was with Jacksonville last year and, didn't get any calls for a starting job. You can kind of see some of the warts in his game, but I think overall, especially if you're grading him on a curve, if you're going to say, how was he from a backup quarterback perspective, it's about as good as you can play, right? I mean, I don't have his final numbers immediately in front of me. I know he threw for 279, I want to say. And
he was 26 for 39. He had
3 touchdowns. Or did he have 3?
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3
passer rating of like 113, which I think it was
incredible.
Like Russell Wilson, him, and everyone else, which is insane.
Yeah, and I mean, Mac Jones did exactly what he should do, and that's manage the game, right? And I know that's a little bit of a sensitive topic when it comes to 49ers fans, because that was something that was put on Brock Purdy's head for so long, is him being a game manager. But I think especially when you're looking at Mac Jones, when you're looking at these backup quarterbacks, and obviously somebody that Shanahan has coveted for a really long time, I think it looked good. I think it looked okay. I think, again, especially considering if we're grading it on a backup curve, he was fine. He was definitely fine. If you go against a better team, not sure how it's going to look. Niners go against the Cardinals this week. I'm not sure if that's quite a big enough test. We'll see, honestly, how well the Cardinals offense looks. They've been a little erratic, as Kyler Murray offenses tend to be, but Kyler's put up some really good. I looked up before the show Kyler's numbers against the Niners in his career. He's done fairly well personally, but I think he's got a 4-4 record. But we'll see how much pressure he can put on the Niners, I guess, offense by virtue of what he does to the Niners defense. Because I think if Kyler can put up some early points in that one, if the Niners play from behind, that's just, even when me and Alan were doing the show together and the Niners went to the Super Bowl that season, we would talk about constantly the Niners needing to stay on schedule. The Niners need to essentially play from ahead. And Alan and I would go back and forth on whether it was a lot of front runner energy, but frankly, I think that's where the Niners, newsflash, if you're ahead, you just feel more comfortable. And I think the Niners, more than any team that I've seen, really, really take comfort in being in the lead. Maybe there's one other team that really does come to mind, and we'll talk more about, frankly, I'll spoil it. We'll talk a little bit more about the Eagles later, who just don't seem to be playing the same sport as everyone else. They're the way that they attack a football game is just, it's fascinating to me. It really is. So we'll talk about that a little bit later when it comes to that Super Bowl rematch between the Chiefs and the Eagles. But back to the Niners, a big story point for this week, of course, was Pinheiro replacing Jake Moody. For the most part, all good in the hood, right? Like, he made 2 under 50-yard field goals. The 46-yard field goal that he hit was right down the middle. He missed an extra point. I have not gotten a good replay on that, but I swear the holder messed it up.
yes and no, right?
Okay.
He probably still should have made the kick, but
Of course,
yes, there was a weird hold situation.
Okay, yeah, I never got a good replay of that, but in the moment, it kind of looked like there was a bobbled snap, or maybe, again, just kind of late timing on him sticking the ball in the ground, but looked like there was some fumbling going on there, so I was able to kind of give him a little bit of a pass on the extra point. Of course, all points tend to matter, but I think the fact that he comes out and hits those 2 field goals, they were talking about it during the broadcast. Like, I think they said Kyle Shanahan didn't even look at the kicks because he just felt that level of comfort, and that's not something he has felt with Jake Moody for the past,
lies,
3 years.
Lies,
there's
right
no
there.
way. There's no way.
Whoever said that on the broadcast just lied.
Daryl Johnston.
Yeah, lies. There's just no way.
Yeah,
there's no way he's like, he is
sweating more than ever.
There's no way. Look, maybe he turned away. That's fine, but there's no way he's like so confident in his kicker that he's turning. There's just no way.
There's no way.
There's
Everything
no
about
way
Kyle
that's
Shanahan, the person, says that he's just never doing that. Period. Like, Kyle is not somebody who is going to put blind faith in anyone who isn't maybe his quarterback, Brock Purdy, but there's just no way that Kyle Shanahan is going to trust Pinheiro. And shout out Pinheiro again. Like, that's a big situation to walk into. And for him to start the game by missing the extra point and then just kind of shaking it off and being perfect. Like, those 2 kicks, again, you cannot ask for better kicks. And it's funny that, again, here we are talking about the importance of kickers, but it's one of those things where, and I'm sure the Ravens will tell you, when you don't have to think about it, you forget how big of a luxury it is to not. I mean, when you have to sweat it out every time your kicker's going out there, ask Tennessee. That's not how you want to live. That Tennessee-Georgia game on Saturday went down to the Tennessee, and granted, it's a college kicker, but like that kid had to kick a 42-yard field goal to win the game, completely shanked it, come overtime, hits the same exact field goal. I don't know. It just feels like to me, and again, we talked about it a ton on Friday for some reason, but the importance of just having a knockdown kicker, even if it is from 50 in, I know obviously now, and Kyle and I were talking about it pre-show, the huge advantage of having a guy like Brandon Aubrey do what he did on Sunday.
Oh, that won the game. If the Niners were the Cowboys and Neighbors completes that touchdown, game over. They lost.
Yeah. They don't have the capability of just getting to the star essentially and saying we're in field goal range.
Yeah, literally. It was a 64-yard field goal, which means they had to get to the 47-yard line to hit that kick. And Aubrey would have made it from 69.
Yeah.
Like, they could have gotten not even to midfield and won that game.
Yeah, and Chris Boswell had a 60-yard kick last week. I think Jake Elliott this week had another 58-yard field goal or something crazy.
Bates for the Lions hit one from 60.
It's nuts. And the Vikings yet again had another moment where they, have a long drive right before halftime and kick a long field goal to finally get some points. So yeah, I mean, it feels like there is value in having that extra boost of a kicker where the 50 pluses are in range. And I don't think Isaiah Pinheiro, I think that's probably the reason why he was a free agent kicker, is that's not really his forte. I think as a Niners, for Niners fans, I think you'll cross that bridge when you get there, right? Like, if those 50-yard plus kicks start coming into play and he's shanking them left and right, maybe then you have the conversation. But I think, especially for how this Niners team, this offense plays, there's so many times where they're inside their half of the 50. And there would be times where they would just come up empty in possessions, and you just can't have that. So I think the comfortability of having Isaiah Pinheiro there to hit those. I'm sorry, Eddie. I keep doing that. I keep doing Isaiah Pinheiro.
Are you doing Isaiah Pacheco?
I am doing. I don't even know if it's Isaiah Pacheco, but I think it probably is, because it's Pacheco Pinheiro.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's getting lost in my head. Thank you.
I was just like, I heard it once.
No,
I was
appreciate
like,
it. Appreciate it. Please correct me. So thank you, Eddie Pinheiro. The comfortability of having him just be able to hit those from inside 50, I think is just a huge positive for the Niners, and having possessions that don't end up in 0 points when you already have the offense that they're capable of having when fully healthy. I think it's going to be a really big boost. And I'm sure Niner fans can more accurately tell you how many games Jake Moody actively lost them with missing kicks. So I think even if you're just getting the simple ones, the ones that you as a fan feel like should be gimmies, they're not always gimmies. And the fact that you have a guy now who can potentially hit those at a pretty insane, ridiculous clip, I think is going to be a huge, huge benefit. Something that won't be a benefit, however, for the Niners is this pessimism that they're having on Brock Purdy. And granted, of course, it's probably justified because they're seeing him But word really spread on Sunday about Purdy's status already for week 3. It's not good when on Sunday you're hearing about somebody's status for the following week. But a lot of pessimism from the Niners when it comes to Brock Purdy and his availability. The quote that Adam Schefter had on Sunday morning was, quote, "We'll see for next week." One source talks about Purdy. Next week will be tight, but he's progressed a lot this week. And that was the sentiment I believe I saw from Matt Mayoko as well, where essentially he wasn't willing to go anywhere with the will Brock play or not, but essentially did echo the fact that he progressed quite a bit this past week. And I think the Joe Burrow turf toe injury maybe gives you pause to think about bringing him back a little bit early, especially considering you got the win. You're 2-0. You have a little bit of comfort. Again, like we mentioned earlier, I would feel okay with Mac Jones going in at home against the Cardinals. You know, Brock being in there definitely gives me a lot more comfort. I don't think it's a guarantee, but I think with the little bit of cushion that the Niners have now, I don't think it's crazy for them to kind of run Mac Jones into the ground and see, let Brock be fully healthy, because he doesn't have his full complement of help right now with Kittle out, and obviously Brandon Ayuk still out and things like that. So, and Trent Williams, kind of in and off the injury report. So I wouldn't hate it if the Niners at least give it another week before they really consider bringing back Brock Purdy. Again, with them being 2-0, it feels like you've allowed yourself a little bit of cushion here to play with Brock's injury. And what's the point? You play the Jaguars the week after that. Again, I'm not sure that's necessarily something you have to rush Brock Purdy back for. If I were them, I would at least wait until after that Jacksonville game, all things considered. At worst, you'll be 2-2. Feels like to me, more than likely they'll be 3-1, maybe even 4-0. So that's where things stand right now on the Brock Purdy front. Tonight, we have more football action. We actually have double football action. I know all the Raider fans know all about that. We have the Bucks and the Texans going head-to-head at 4 o'clock on ESPN. And then you have the Chargers and the Raiders going on at 7 p.m. on ESPN. That one should be a very, very interesting game, especially since they had the fights there on Saturday. I think it was Dan Orlovsky posting on his social medias video of the transition. I think he said that, I don't think he had it confirmed, but I believe he said that they had to bring the ring in from the roof. So it wasn't as if they just like assembled it in the middle of Allegiant Stadium. I believe he said that there's still cranes that were in the stadium yesterday from having to physically lift the boxing ring out of the stadium. I'm not 100% sure that that's true, but that's just what Dan Orlovsky said yesterday on his socials. So there you go. It'll be very interesting to see how that field sticks together. Obviously, all turf. I think the Raiders actually do like the Niners, if I'm not mistaken, and have their practice field outside, and then are, through the magic of modern innovation, can literally like wheel in their field from the outside. So it's like it grows outdoor, but they can bring it indoor, something like that. So I know, obviously, Allegiant Stadium built with budget not in mind. Something tells me that they'll be fine. That playing surface will be fine. But nonetheless, I think it'll definitely be a story to watch out for. Coming up next, we're again going to continue this Football Monday and talk to you about Sacramento having itself a weekend. Not only on Saturday, I know we mentioned the Country in the Park and, Sac Republic, Sac State obviously had their home opener on Saturday, but Sunday, Sacramento showed out as well. We'll talk about that next coming up. Alan Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Roseville Auto Mall.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA3 Weather Center. It's Monday, kicking off a new work and school week. Comfortable beginning to today thanks to just a subtle Delta breeze. For the afternoon, it's going to run warmer. Plenty of sunshine expected along with light northwest winds. Highs today in the low to mid 90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Fresh adventures await at the Roseville Auto Mall. With 20 top brands and thousands of vehicles in stock daily, your new adventure is just a short drive or click away. Level up with a new vehicle during our trade-in and trade-up event now at the Roseville Auto Mall. Driven to be the best.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily. Brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza, the way it ought to be. Brought to you by Xfinity. Sports are unpredictable. The price of your internet shouldn't be. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One consistent internet price for 5 years with no annual contracts. Guaranteed.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Ben Bowden, out with that left shoulder lat strain, got an MRI last week and showed a grade 2 lat strain. He's currently shut down from throwing. His expected return is TBD. Denzel Clark, out with that right adductor strain, is set to run the bases in mid-September and could begin a rehab assignment in mid-September. If all goes well, his expected return late September. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group.
Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay $0 up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's TREX.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emron Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Alan Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Welcome back, I should say, to the Alan Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in for the next, at least for the next 3.5 hours. Let's get into some Sacramento Sunday action. Maybe I should start with Saturday. Let's start with Saturday.
Sacramento Saturday.
Sacramento Saturday.
Which will lead into Sacramento
That's
Sunday.
Right, Sacramento Sunday. That makes it sound like it's a little gimmicky. There's nothing gimmicky.
A little gimmicky.
Yeah, hey, come on out. Sacramento on Saturday.
Oh, there was everything happening on Saturday.
You like soccer? You got Sac Republic.
Who drew?
2-2. They're up 2-0 at half.
But
How about
hey,
Sac State Hornets taking on everybody's favorite university, Mercyhurst?
Mercyhurst.
Huh?
Where is Mercyhurst?
No idea. I was going to ask Jason Ross. I assume it's like one of those middle of the country places.
It is Erie, Pennsylvania.
Wow. Oh, I was not going to guess East Coast. Okay, well, they made quite a trip. And I will say, Mercyhurst, for a minute, like put up a pretty decent fight. Like I thought they were going to make Sac State make Sac State sweat.
Sweat like Chris Watkins.
Wow. Sweat like Chris Watkins in the first segment. Y'all, I'm telling you, it is the opposite of an icebox in here.
So their future, I just pulled up their schedule, which is funny. So they lost to Youngstown State.
Yeah, shout out
they have
Jim
future
Trussell.
games against Long Island University, somewhere called Wagner.
Okay.
No idea.
Shout out
Duquesne.
Okay. I've heard of
Robert
them.
Morris University, and Central Connecticut. So I guess
quite a schedule. So this was the highlight of their year.
They must be in like some East Coast conference.
That's like D3 maybe even. I mean, shout out Mercyhurst. They definitely at least showed up. Like, they especially for making that much of a travel.
It was close for a minute.
It really was. I think the final score was 48-28 or something like that. It was not nearly that much of a blowout.
I think it was 35-28 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I remember. We were kind of tracking it at the A's game.
Yeah,
because we were
quite a bit going on. And then Saturday as well, I don't think I have it in this rundown. I think I have it a little bit later in the show. Saturday, not the Nick Curts home run heard around the world.
Yes, that was genuinely shocked. So there weren't that many people at the game in the media section.
A's Reds,
yes,
it wasn't stadium packed.
No, it was like me and Chris Biederman and Jeremiah.
Shout out Jeremiah.
And we were all just like, oh my God.
That was a nuke.
It went, so we were like, oh, I think
dead center, was it not?
Oh, it didn't just go over the batter's eye.
Yeah, I was like, where did it hit?
It cleared the batter's eye by like 50 feet.
Like the cameras in the batter's eye?
Yes, like the green, it went over that.
Yeah, like it almost hit the River Cat.
Oh, yeah.
Like it almost hit the clock with the River Cat.
If it was a little to the left, if it had been straight dead center, it might have hit where the old scoreboard would have been. I'm telling you,
That's insane.
Home run cleared the big green thing by 50 feet. It was unbelievable.
So I think they have a Toyota in like right center. Would it have like mashed that? Like it would have gone over the newer scoreboard and probably like broken a window.
For reference, so Suzuki on the Cubs hit the new scoreboard like the first series of the season.
Did. Oh my gosh.
That was 451.
Yeah.
Kurtz was 493. So he would have either gone over the scoreboard.
He might have been literally in the parking lot.
Yeah.
He might have left the state. I mean, he still might have left the stadium.
Allegedly, they have not found the ball.
That's incredible.
No, I can't confirm if that's true or not, but I have heard rumors they have not found the ball. Hey, here's the sound of that, by the way.
Yeah, please.
2-2 to center field. Benson back. There she goes.
Good Lord.
I've never seen a baseball go that far. I've never heard the sound off the bat like that.
I mean, I can't even imagine what that would have sounded like. And then I don't know if you got to see the replay of Lawrence Butler's face at second when he saw, it was the second that it was hit. He literally turned around and looked like the Vincent, I think it's Van Gogh's scream. Like he legitimately looked terrified at how far. And here's the thing. This was definitely not meant to be an A segment, but like this dude is, 23 years old? How old is Nick Curts?
I believe 23.
And he's got 32 home runs in like 90 games.
He was playing college baseball like 17 months ago.
That's nuts. That is nuts. And they just shout out the A's also for just not wasting time. I saw, we'll talk about it a little later. Bryce Eldridge gets called up for the Giants this week. Shout out to the A's for just being like, we're not very good. Let's not waste time. Nick Curts looks like he can hit today.
Yeah.
Let's throw him out there. I saw a graphic that said he's tied with Aaron Judge right now for the most Oppo home runs this season with 16. And again, this dude has played under 90 games. He's 23 years old. This is insane. And then you pair that with the season that Jacob Wilson started to have and then kind of fell on some injuries.
Which Jacob Wilson, by the way, they called him up after like 12 months. They were like, come on up. Come on up.
You can help. We'll take it. And I love it. I mean, I think that's, it's funny that the A's haven't really marketed themselves, period, at all to Sacramento. But, like, I think there is some sort of appeal there to come watch this really fun, young, exciting offense. And the pitchers are god-awful.
I mean, they've been good the second half, but they've been out of it. Alan makes the point, and I think I've come around. Like, if they're in a playoff race, people will show up. But to your point about the marketing, they had Hall of Fame induction night on Saturday. As Barry Zito and Mark Mulder and Tim Hudson. Their attendance was 3,000 less than the aforementioned Sac Republic game and nearly 4,000 less than the Sac State football home opener. The A's got outdrawn by both of them. Technically minor league teams, although I understand like they play less regularly, but the A's Hall of Fame induction night got outdrawn by nearly like 4,000 people.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. That's really, really embarrassing if you're the A's. I mean, again, especially if you're even going to give the facade of trying to integrate yourself with this market. Like, I think enough people, A, would have had interest, but B, like, I think that there is a good crossover of like people who saw those teams play. And I think it probably was more of I didn't even know that was going on than an active protest or a lack of interest or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, that definitely continues to be a story here in Sacramento is the A's and how tied in or not tied in they are with the Sacramento market. Glad Kyle's been out at tons of A's games. I know Ramsey has as well. But we're very, very well represented out at those A's games. Sac Republic, again, always an incredible environment. They had a sellout, 11,500 plus. That Sac State home opener, 12,000 plus over there at Hornet Stadium. I think they were hoping for a little bit bigger of a crowd, but again, Mercyhurst, you're 0-2. I think there's some factors, also just a ton going on that day. I wouldn't be too concerned. I think Sac State, talking with Jason Ross, I believe they have quite a home stretch here, so I would expect those numbers to look a lot better. And then as the team kind of starts to, reinvigorate themselves and people start to kind of find the hype again, I wouldn't be too down on Sac State right now. Again, I know they didn't look great coming out of that one, but I think they definitely at some point found their legs, and they still are kind of putting themselves together, as we kind of talked about quite a bit on Friday. So let's move on to Sunday now, where we covered Saturday, huge events. People
Sacramento
showed out.
Sunday
was all about, hey, it's not about what's going on in Sacramento. It's about letting everyone know what Sacramento's about. And there was just tons of former Sacramento stars that showed out. And the first and foremost is one Sac State alum, Cam Scadaboo, who had his first touchdown for the Giants following, I think it was a 14-yard angry run that he had to put them at the goal line. Of course, I think Kyle and I were kind of briefly mentioning it in last segment, but that game was about as exciting as it gets. And for Cam Scadaboo to get his first touchdown, looks like he's starting to make a little bit of an imprint in that Giants depth chart. I know he's got a couple running backs in front of him, Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary, but it does seem like they're making effort to get Cam Scadaboo the ball. And here's what his first touchdown sounded like.
First and goal, Giants at the 1. Wilson back in. Scadaboo the tailback. Handoff, Scadaboo runs left into the end zone, standing up, and the Giants are back in front with 12:07 to go. Scadaboo's first career touchdown.
There you go. And, of course, that is not how that game would end. Incredibly exciting ending for that Giants-Cowboys game. Ends up going into overtime. Brandon Aubrey kicks a 60-plus yard field goal to send it into overtime after a Malik Neighbors Hail Mary touchdown catch with two defenders draped all over him. But Cam Scadaboo gets what could have been a very big touchdown in that game. Hope to see him progress and just continue to get more and more touches in that offense. Again, it just looks like he's one of those guys where when he gets the ball, it looks different. And so I just, that's not groundbreaking analysis or anything like that, but it's one of those things where when you just see the anger or frustration or power in which he runs the football, it just really sticks out, and it wouldn't surprise me if by the end of the season, Cam Scadaboo is their leading back. Jake Browning, a former Folsom fame, the dude has every California State passing touchdown possible, or record possible. He gets the game-winning touchdown, filling in for Joe Burrow, who we're going to discuss later. Seems like Joe Burrow is going to be out at least 3 months with turf toe. So Jake Browning, Folsom's finest, Again, the guy who has, I believe he still has just about every California state passing record you could have. Jake Browning will be leading the Cincinnati Bengals for the foreseeable future. You have Marte Mapu getting an interception for the Patriots against the Dolphins, former Sac State. Just absolutely make a name. And then absolutely Shane Steichen as well. Have to mention him getting the win over the Denver Broncos. Absolutely huge. Sacramento showing out this entire weekend. And I should also mention, in a weird fate of irony, Eric Armstead as well had a sack for the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. It was the sack that ended up hurting Joe Burrow. So he finds his way kind of adjacent to some big news. So Sacramento, absolutely huge weekend. Cam Scatterbo touchdown. You had Jake Browning get the game-winning rushing touchdown, Marte Mapu interception, Shane Steichen with the win, and then just all the action that happened on Saturday. Sacramento showing out and showing up really to all of those events. And yeah, again, if we have time later, maybe we can talk about where Sacramento stands as a market right now and kind of, do they have the appropriate amount of teams? Do they not have enough teams? Do they actually have too many teams? I hope we can find some time to discuss that. But coming up next, we're going to hit some quick hitters from Sunday and go a little bit of, I guess you can call it a 2-minute drill. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results. Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at tmobile.com.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Are you thinking about buying a new car? Well, maybe you're on the fence. Let me help you out. Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the first time I stepped into the MP of Stockton showroom, I knew I made the right choice. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV. It's comfortable, stylish, and most importantly, it's safe. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. It's just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mbfstockton.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Top 100 teacher and PGA Master Professional Kelly Stenzel offers some short game rules in Golf Magazine. 1. Stay still while putting. 2. Lean into chips with weight slightly forward during the shot. 3. For less distance, use a shorter swing and narrower stance. 4. Hit the ground to get true launch. Make a divot to get the ball in the air. 5. To hit a great bunker shot, dig your feet into the sand. 6. Swing length controls natural speed. Swing and stroke should be relatively equal back and through in size and rhythm. 7. Pivot for pitches so the club head glides underneath the ball, launching it high with spin. 8. Write it down. Calibrate your short game and put it on paper. Having some basic guidelines and a plan for your short game can make a huge difference without having to always rely on feel. Look for the full story at golf.com. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention former and present inmates of women's prisons in California. If you are currently or were an inmate of Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, also known as Chowchilla Women's Facility, Valley State Prison for Women in Chowchilla, Institute for Women in Chino, or Folsom Women's Facility in Represa, and were a victim of sexual abuse, now is the time to come forward, as you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. If you were an inmate at any of these prisons at any time and were subjected to sexual abuse from staff members, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Call our California Women's Prison Helpline now at 800-408-1240. The deadline to file a claim may be close. Call now to get the justice, closure, and the financial settlement you deserve. Even if it was long ago, call our law firm's Women's Prison Sexual Abuse Helpline right now at 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240.
Get ready for the final week of Sacramento River Cats baseball. Join us from September 16th through the 21st as we celebrate giveaways, special theme uniforms, Fan Appreciation Day, and more. Get your tickets at rivercats.com.
Live and local.
It's Alan Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
You're listening to the Alan Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in for Alan Stiles. Kyle and I were just talking about during the break just some absolutely crazy stuff that we're going to get into a little bit later. I was messing around on the weekend I knew I was going to be doing these shows for fairly consistently for the next 2 weeks. So I'm trying to get some benchmarks, as they call it in the industry, down. And we've got something to talk about when it comes to, it's going to fit in our rumor report at about 1 o'clock, but man, oh man, there's just some crazy stuff going on locally that we'll get into in about the 1 o'clock hour, when it's actually going to be right before the 1 o'clock hour. 12:45 right now we have slated for our rumor report, so definitely if you can stick around for that, that's in a couple hours. But for right now, as we were just talking about Sacramento having quite a weekend in total, just Cam Scatteraboo, Jake Browning, Marte Mapu, Shane Steichen all having big performances, or a big moment at least on Sunday. And then Saturday, you had Sac Republic, you had Sac State with their home opener, you had the A's have a Hall of Fame induction night that nobody knew about. So, absolutely great weekend for Sacramento. But,
I'm not going to lie. Even I forgot about the Hall of Fame induction. I was like, I kind of want to go to it. And then I showed up in like the second inning. I was like,
did they give any promotion or any, like a bobblehead or a shirt for those guys?
On Sunday, so the day after the induction ceremony.
Because why would you have it the day of?
The next day they gave away T-shirts with like their faces on it.
How cool are those shirts?
I think they're pretty saucy. They're kind of in that like animation style that they do with like the fat heads.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll bring it in tomorrow. It's actually pretty cool.
Okay, well,
that's
again,
good, it was not the day of the induction ceremony.
Yeah, it would have made all of the sense in the world to have it the day of, but whatever. I guess not much makes sense in that situation. So. If you don't mind, Kyle, let's get into these Sunday quick hitters, or a little 2-minute. I was going to call it a 2-minute drill, but I'm honestly there's 0% chance I can hold this to 2 minutes.
Fastest 5 minutes.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. The fastest 5 minutes.
Fastest 5 minutes, which I'm going to hold you to because we have 5 minutes in the segment.
All right. Well, wonderful. Let's start off with this. On Sunday, did the Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl rematch live up to the hype? I'm just going to say no. If we're talking about hype, like, it wasn't an exciting game. It was not entertaining. I think both quarterbacks I think Jalen Hurts finished with barely over 100 yards. Patrick Mahomes didn't eclipse 100 yards until I think 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It was not exciting. It was a defensive bloodbath, I guess you could say. Travis Kelce dropped a touchdown that could have flipped it. I think it's interesting. The Chiefs are 0-2 already in one-score games after last year 10-0 in one-score games. So that's
winning 17 in a row.
I mean, yeah, that too. And already the Chiefs already have as many losses this year as they did last year.
Yeah,
which is nuts, absolutely crazy. Of course, you can't give up on the Chiefs yet, but the Eagles look good. And I mentioned they're just playing a different sport. Watching them play, and maybe it makes sense. It also feels like it's a luxury because of the tush push. And by the way, can we get a false start on the tush push? There was like 2 or 3 where the guards are like a half tick in front of the center snapping the ball. And by the time they're already launched, it's like the play is already made. Like you already have cleared enough room for Jalen Hurts to be pushed. We can get into it at a different date. The tush push did not get outlawed this offseason, but man, feels like the Eagles are better at it than ever. And again, it allows them to play this game where they truly are playing 4 downs at a time. Like they're not trying to get these explosive plays. They don't look at it as we're starting at the 20. We need to get 80 yards. They legitimately take the field in 10-yard chunks. It sounds really simple and seems like something that teams should focus more on instead of, just trying to get chunk plays or get a 15-yard out route or whatever it is. The Eagles have the luxury of first and second down. You can run it with Saquon. You're probably going to get at least 6 yards. Third down, who knows what happens. Fourth down, you have the luxury of getting that tush push from at least 2 yards out. Again, it just feels like they can play a different level of math with how they play football. So shout out the Eagles, I guess, for figuring that out.
I also
I'm not giving up on the Chiefs.
I also hate so much that they've ruined Kansas City. Like I started rooting for Kansas City because of how fun the offense was, and I feel like I'm cursed to just the worst offense ever.
Yeah.
And it's so boring, and I hate it so much. But
a lot of check downs, and Mahomes was running for his life. I mean, I wouldn't say running for his life because it wasn't as bad as what it was in the Super Bowl, but I believe he led the team in rushing. I think he had 7 rushes himself, which is just not typical for him. He laid somebody out, dropped his shoulder, and absolutely knocked out one of the Eagles defenders. But yeah, it just didn't seem like he was super comfortable. That line is still an issue, and I know the Eagles D-line is also ridiculous. But if we're talking about how those two teams stack up head-to-head, it still looks like the Eagles are the better team of the two. So that's definitely what I learned from that game. Wouldn't say it necessarily lived up to the hype. Who had the most embarrassing loss this week? I've got 3 candidates. Actually, I've got 4 candidates. I put Vikings-Falcons just because there was nothing there. I wouldn't call it embarrassing necessarily, so I'm not going to pick it as the one.
Just sad.
It's sad is the much better word. Colts-Broncos, the way that the Broncos lost that game, I don't think we'll have enough time to get completely into it, but they got called for leverage, which is essentially the defensive player on the Broncos holding down the center to try and jump over the Colts line, and then they re-kick, the Colts do, for the win. Wasn't great. Broncos were supposed to be these world beaters. I'm still going to have to give it to the Giants for losing that game. There was just no way they should have lost that game when Malik Neighbors makes that catch.
I'm going to go with the other one on the list here. Buddy, Ben Johnson, you show up back in Detroit and get 52 dropped on you by a Lions team that no one really thinks is that good.
Yeah, and he probably said a lot on the way out.
Oh.
He did a lot of I made this. This is me. How much of this team is me? And I'm out the door. I feel like they kind of ran it up on him.
That was crazy.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it was an absolute blowout. That's probably the right choice. And then, we'll go one more before we pick this up on the other side of the break. Who is the most fraudulent 2-0 team right now? I've got 3 options, and I probably should add another one. I think they just weren't 2-0 by the time I looked at this.
I know the one I'm picking. That is the Daniel Jones Colts.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the answer is the Daniel Jones Colts.
There's just no way.
And that's the one that I didn't have. The other 3 that I had, the Bengals, only because they're not going to have Joe Burrow for the foreseeable future. They also just haven't looked very good.
I will also save for if the Raiders win tonight. That'll be my pick.
That would also be a really, really good shout. And then, just to really set up the matchup this weekend, Cardinals and Niners, I don't really believe that either of those two, if we're talking about 2-0 and you belong in an elite class, I just don't know if I've seen that from those two teams.
This is going to be a battle of which team is going to try to screw it up in the fourth quarter more.
100%. Yeah.
just Shanahan and Jonathan Gannon just love messing things up late.
Kyler also likes to get a little bit frisky as well. So, that's setting up for this weekend. 2-2-0 teams, Cardinals and Niners. I think they're both a little bit fraudulent. We'll just have to see which team looks to be a little bit more put together at this point. We're going to continue with the quick hits and get into some Kings talk as well. What is the biggest hole heading into the season for the Sacramento Kings? ESPN.com gave us an answer. I'll give you my answer as well. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Until 11/1, select models only.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop. I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Well, the A's will open the season next year on March 26th in Toronto, and the full slate of games that day will mark the earliest traditional opening day in Major League history. Now, as far as the Dodgers coming to West Sacramento for the first time, that series will begin on June 29th.
Welcome to Dugout Radio, the undisputed home of Boomtown Baseball.
The Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity, baby. Our next caller is
Stacy. How do you stay locked in on every pitch and play?
We stream it all live on Xfinity Internet with low lag, 99.99% network reliability, and speeds faster than a base runner beating the throw to home plate.
I stream on my TV, tablets, even my smart fridge.
Smart fridge?
With all those games, we gotta refuel.
Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember,
For the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
With football in the air, fall is almost here. Time to start thinking about the cooler weather ahead and whether your heater will be able to get you through the winter. Our heater fell apart last winter, so who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Welcome in to the second hour of the Alan Stiles Show. Chris Watkins holding it down for one Alan Stiles, still out on paternity leave for the next couple weeks. Family's all good. I don't know what Alan's doing these next couple weeks. I'm sure he's got some sort of, I wonder if he's golfing. I can see him golf. I don't think he's also taking off River Kitty's time too, huh?
I don't know what the plan is anymore. I know what the original plan was because this week is the last series of the season. So I think he was going to take a couple days off.
Well, I'm sure it won't be the same without him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's glad that Bryce Eldridge won't be there.
I would imagine that between his significant other taking care of the week-old baby, he will be running around with baby number one quite a bit.
It's a really fair point. It's a really, really fair point. I didn't consider that, so... Of course, we're thinking about Alan these next couple weeks. Sounds like everything's going well with him. So, love that. And Alan should be back for the Kings. What is it called? Media Day, of course. Media Day on that's scheduled for the
29th.
I think, we're still
2 weeks from today.
Been official, but I believe that's the day that we have circled. So, should be exciting times.
Do we think that's the case? Because if they land Kuminga for some reason, they're going to have to move it back.
Because, Kuminga's deadline's October 1st,
yeah,
I think.
Because the Warriors are the same thing. The Warriors have media days slated for the 29th, but I'm like, 6 guys on the team can't show up if they're not signed yet.
That will be interesting.
Yeah, Al Horford can't show up to media day.
Seth Curry couldn't show up to media day.
You couldn't even get the photos of the brothers together. They'd have to just move it back.
Yeah, that will be fascinating.
Their off season has been completely on pause, and now it's going to get paused. Even media day is going to get pushed back by Jonathan Kuminga.
Just every part of the organization. The Jonathan Kuminga story has so many tentacles, and it's also gotten an update as well. We're going to get into the Jonathan Kuminga update in about 40 minutes or so. It's a lengthy one. It's got, I won't even call them twists and turns, but there's been like, no joke, 5 different contracts that have been offered to Jonathan Kuminga this summer. Of course, a majority of which being with the Warriors, but the Suns and the Kings have both, through conversations, figured out numbers that they would have signed Jonathan Kuminga to. So it's just, I don't even know. I guess it's a mess. It's kind of not a mess because in the weirdest way, it's being so carefully choreographed and organized that there's just so many different routes that this thing can go. And it was really fascinating to read Shams and Anthony Slater give an update on where things have really, not just where they stand today, but where things have been with Jonathan Kuminga all summer long and all of the different conversations that have been had between the two sides. It's just nuts. And I honestly have never seen anything like this, like anything, especially in the NBA. I've never seen somebody with as complex of a situation in terms of who has leverage, how do you get leverage, And then really, I mean, the fascinating thing is if you're just rooting for mess in all of this, if you're just rooting for the most spicy storylines possible, you want Jonathan Kuminga coming back to the Warriors on a fairly team-friendly deal, but maybe one that makes the Warriors, it's so friendly that maybe they would say, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing if this thing continues, because there's been 2-year deals with a player option. There's been 2-year deals with no option. There's been deals that have team options in them. There's been qualifying offers. There's just an insane amount going on with the Jonathan Kuminga front. I know I gave a little bit there, but I promise you there is still so much when it comes to that story in that saga that we will cover in about 40 minutes. But starting now, let's get into we should probably put a bow on that NFL quick hit. So we'll wrap up the NFL quick hits real quick right now.
I guess they weren't so quick.
Yeah, they weren't so quick. Who would have guessed that I would go long on that? Let's go. We ended with the most fraudulent 2-0 team, so it's only right to go with who's actually the best 0-2 team. And it feels like you kind of have to exclude the Chiefs from this because they would be the obvious selection. My other two, I have the Bears as a question mark, but honestly, that's more of a can they figure something else out? Starting the season with the Vikings and the Lions isn't ideal for them. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Bears figure something out and maybe can inch towards 500. But even then, I wouldn't consider that great. The other one I have is the Titans. And part of that is because of how well they played last week against the Broncos, with the Broncos losing to the Colts. Maybe that looks less impressive. I also thought they showed up pretty well for about 3 quarters against the Rams, and then the Rams kind of let that one get away and took care of business there. So those are the two teams that if I had to take a dart throw on an 0-2 team, those would be the two. Some of the other, I'll just list all of the 0-2 teams as currently slated. The Chiefs are 0-2, Saints are 0-2, Jets are 0-2, Dolphins 0-2, Carolina, Chicago, Cleveland, Tennessee, and the New York Giants.
God, that is an insane group for the Chiefs to be in.
All 0-2. Yeah, maybe the Giants you could throw in there as another team that you have a little faith in, but one good Russell Wilson game isn't going to change.
Yeah, the fact that they lost makes me feel like you just wasted the good Russell Wilson game.
I mean, he was insane. Did he? I think he might have finished like near 400 yards past. Like,
he was over.
He was on one.
I think Wan'Dale Robinson and Neighbors had 140 receiving yards, which I don't think the Giants have had a 140-yard receiver since I was in high school.
Period. I mean, it was probably Amani Toomer and who was the other? Plaxico Burress. It was probably when those two were Jeremy Shockey.
It's Odell Beckham and insert second receiver here.
Oh, wow. Victor Cruz, maybe? I don't even know who their
Sterling Shepard.
Oh, my goodness.
I wanted to believe in the Jets so bad, and they just laid an absolute
Especially, that week 1 game was amazing. Week 2, I mean, Justin Fields gets a concussion. Who knows how long he's going to be out. So now they have Tyrod Taylor. Keep your needles away, please. We'll see.
We might have to clarify when you say that.
I mean, let's not poke him in the, in the lung with the needle.
Tyrod Taylor, for those listening, Tyrod Taylor got punctured a lung when they were giving him an injection. That is not saying Tyrod Taylor is a drug problem.
No, it's not. It's not.
Tyrod Taylor,
an important clarification,
led to Justin Herbert starting as quarterback of the Chargers.
Here we are today.
And never looked back.
No, it's shout out Justin Herbert.
That's how Justin Herbert's career started, was Tyrod Taylor getting punctured in the lung.
It'll be interesting to see how Justin Herbert looks tonight against the Raiders. Obviously an incredible week 1 performance in Brazil against the Chiefs, but I had forgotten that that's actually how Justin Herbert's career started, that was the interesting, I guess, for a lack of a better term, wrinkle in that Tyrod Taylor lung puncture story. So thank you very much for clarifying, Kyle, because especially with this being such a large signal that we're broadcasting out to, definitely didn't need that coming back to me that, hey, did one of your on-air talents call Tyrod Taylor a druggie? All right, let's move on. But before we move on, actually, I did see Trista Crick on social media had this when it comes to 0-2 teams. They have about an 11% chance 0-2 teams do of making the playoffs. However, since 2020, when the playoffs expanded and the season was extended to 17 games, 42 teams have started 0-2, and only 2 have made the playoffs. That's a 4.7% chance. So again, historically, you have about 11% chance But in these past 5 years, only 4.7% of 0-2 teams end up making the playoffs.
Well, Chris, 11% is 1-9. There are currently 9 0-2 teams.
Well, there you go. So
I guess which one I'm picking to make the playoffs.
I guess sometimes it is just that easy. And yeah, I mean, again, you should not be put off by the Chiefs being 0-2.
Which do you think is going to make the playoffs? The Chiefs? If I gave you the Chiefs or the field, who are you picking? Jets, Dolphins, Browns, Titans, Panthers,
Field.
Saints, Giants.
Field, not even close. I'm not even I don't even know who would, again, I know we just did the exercise. I don't even know who would be the close second. It would maybe be the Giants, maybe I don't know.
You could take all 8 teams, and I'm still saying the Chiefs will probably be the team.
Entire time. Yeah. The entire time. So here we go, last one, and this one might not even have an answer, but I think there's a very clear and obvious answer as someone's already been asked about it. Which coach is already on the hot seat? I wondered about Brian Daboll just because he's been on the hot seat to an extent. It's been a lukewarm seat the past year and a half. It was a good game. I mean, it was not the offense's fault. And, of course, like Brian Daboll is always going to be tied to the offense. You have Russell Wilson throw for 400-plus yards. I'm not going to have you on the hot seat. That's not your fault, my guy. The other two, I think, are more interesting. Brian Callahan with the Titans. I don't think they're going to let him go this early. But Mike McDaniel is the one where if you're going to look at preseason vibes connected to on-field performance these first 2 weeks, Mike McDaniel has he's putting on a masterclass, frankly, in how to voluntarily get yourself fired.
Yeah, don't worry. All 3 of them are going to get fired
at some point. Yeah,
but
sure.
I think McDaniel is a pretty good shout. This is what he had to say when asked about
this is incredible.
His jobs. This is his job security one first.
I haven't heard.
I think if I worry about my job security, I won't be doing my job. I've never felt entitled to this position. There's a lot of people affected, so yeah, I won't spend one moment thinking about all the things that people want me to think about.
Okay. For sure, Mike. Whatever you say, I honestly don't hate that quote for him. I get it. Like, you don't want to focus and change how you would do something just because you're afraid of repercussions, or you just don't want to take yourself out of being what got you there in the first place. But when you're playing like how the Dolphins have been playing, maybe you should consider it. And here's the craziest part about it, and this is what I thought you were going to play, Kyle. It's Mike McDaniel. Essentially, I don't even really know what the framing of the question was, but essentially here's Mike McDaniel's philosophy, I guess you can say, on what it takes to be successful in this league.
To win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game.
Yep,
honestly, and that is how you lose the game. You're moving the ball down the field. You're 1st and 10. And then you find yourself at 2nd and 20.
It's not great.
That was critical.
Okay, so 1st 10, 2nd 20, and then you want to
to win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game.
Got to win the games, not lose them. And then if you end up winning more than you lose, things are probably going to go pretty well for you. And it's really as simple as that. And when you have quotes like that, and you, frankly, like, I don't really know how else to put it. I really honestly don't. And it might sound, maybe it's offensive, maybe it's ignorant, but when you look how Mike McDaniel looks, and he, frankly, like, just kind of looks like a punching bag. The way he carries himself is very lax and nonchalant. And, he's got the nicest Jordans on. He's just, he doesn't. And then the bigger part and the bigger problem is, of course, when you don't have the results. But I just think when you're a young guy like Mike McDaniel, when you carry yourself how he carries himself and you don't get the results, it's just not going to work out for you. People are going to, the shtick only goes on for so long with the cute quotes and the funny things. And I think, he had a comment during the training camp where it was essentially like, we made it through the day and that was an accomplishment. Like things like that, where you're a little snarky, you're being a little bit of a smart aleck.
It can only get worse.
Yeah,
or it can't get worse.
That's what it was. It can't get worse.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, man. Again, like it plays better when you're winning, and when you're not, and your quarterback has questions, and Tyreek Hill is begging to be traded. It just isn't going to work.
Well, that's the bigger one, right? And I think this is where it starts with it all falling apart for the Dolphins is when Tyreek Hill is showing you up.
Yeah.
He didn't go back in the game the last week of the season last year, and then immediately at the post-game presser said, I want to leave.
Yeah.
And then there was some other stuff too, but like that's the big one. When that happens and he's allowed to come back, he's in charge now. It's
No,
like
100%.
that guy's in charge. You're not in charge. That guy's in charge. If he can show you up and he's still around. So that's kind of where I think it's going to go wrong for McDaniel. But hey, the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars is still an option for him.
Yeah, and it probably is going to be, especially with the amount of connection, I think, to your point, that we've seen the Jaguars have with like former Niners, period. Like, it would not surprise me at all if that's Trevor Lawrence's next signal caller.
He's gonna land softly somewhere, but Tyreek Hill nuked the whole thing, and now you got to just get everyone out of here.
Well, how funny, ironic would it be if we just go full circle on this thing and Mike McDaniel's back in San Francisco next year, and they got Robert Saleh and Mike McDaniel and the gang's all back together, and everyone can be happy.
No, the unction is back together.
Is that what they called themselves?
No, I'm saying
it's like the unction.
That's the meme on the internet of like you haven't seen this?
No, I'm so washed.
So that's what everyone's calling the Clippers is the unction.
That fits. Yeah.
They're just getting all the old guys.
The Commanders
as
well.
But anyways, that's Team AARP. By the way, that was crazy on Thursday. I was watching the Commanders and some guy got hurt for the Commanders and they were like doing the kneeling on the field.
Not Eckler, I assume.
What?
Not Eckler, I assume.
No. It's special teams play.
Gotcha.
But anyways, guy got hurt. They're doing the pause and they're like panning and it's like Bobby Wagner, Von Miller. I'm like, wow, I did not realize how old this Commanders team is.
Terry McLaurin, happy birthday, 30 years old.
Yeah, Debo is old. Anyways, yeah. So the unction is what they call teams that are old. The Kings aren't quite the unction, but
they're getting there.
The Clippers, they call it that. Anytime it's like, anytime old people are not old people, but people are.
Hey, we're the youngest right now.
Look,
Kyle and I are the youngest show in Northern California right
now.
So
anytime you're running it back with the crew, like when
I don't know if I would call Saleh and McDaniel, who are two on the younger side. I think that's where I was just confused. Those two are like younger coaches.
They're younger,
so I don't
but
think I would consider them UNC status.
It would feel like they're just trying to capture the glory days again.
100%.
Because McDaniel's not respected anymore.
No.
Saleh, I think, still has respect as a coordinator, but I don't think
he's a joke as a coach. I don't think he's.
I don't know. The Jaguars tried to offer him their job, which is not a great sign for your coaching career. But I don't think he's going to get another head coaching job.
I would be very surprised if, I would be more surprised if McDaniel gets one at this point. I guess with Josh McDaniels, like maybe there's always a chance for, especially when you get that first opportunity young, you never know. Offense is so sexy. It's like, hey, like if he comes back to being a coordinator and has another, top 3 offense, would I be shocked if he gets another job? No, but it just feels like trajectory wise, feels like Robert Saleh, to your earlier point, like just has respect is probably the right word. Has a little bit more respect in those kind of circles.
And the other thing for McDaniel is like, if Bill O'Brien can go to college and have like a decent program at Boston College, Mike McDaniel can make it work in college somewhere.
That's actually such a great shout. It actually kind of feels like that's his destiny, right? Like, especially again, to bring back my ignorance, like the way he carries himself, the way he styles himself, the way he dresses, the way he talks even, I think does maybe lend itself more to like college kids and being more hip. And
because he vapes on the sidelines, he'd be great with college kids.
Kinda. It's kind of what I'm saying, to be honest with you. Like, I would love to not reduce it to something so simple, but like, I do think he's got a lot of that young energy and he's an offensive minded guy. Dude, if freaking, what's his name? Lincoln Riley can figure it out. I mean, he hasn't really figured it out at SC, but it's like, to me, there's no way that McDaniel.
But the other nice thing about college nowadays is that these coaches are like CEOs.
Yeah.
So like you can delegate a lot of this stuff.
Sure.
Jim Harbaugh, when he was at Michigan, didn't do a second of recruiting. Not a second of recruiting, because he just delegated it to everyone. If you're Mike, great, get good assistants. just focus on game plans.
Sure.
He would have it
schemes,
made.
Especially in college too. Like, yeah, you can really get in your bag with all the schemes and stuff. I don't know. We might have just figured something out. I think that's honestly probably Mike McDaniel's best path to success in coaching is to get that. And, honestly, funny enough, it could also go the exact way that it's gone in Miami as well, as he could be a laughingstock and all that. But as a coordinator, again, he I think would still have some magic, but it just feels like that situation's over. Now moving on to the Kings, as we spent somehow 20 minutes talking football, even still wrapping up that quick hits segment. Again, it was probably foolish of me to think that was going to be quick in general. Let's move on to the Kings, who have quite a few, I think, roster questions, undoubtedly, but ESPN.com went through the entirety of the NBA and went through every roster's biggest hole heading into the season. The Sacramento Kings' biggest hole is the front court reserves. They write, after trading Jonas Valanciunas for salary purposes, the Kings are left with a lot of questions behind starters Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis. Journeyman Drew Eubanks and a second-round pick Maxime Reynaud will battle to back up Sabonis at center. Meanwhile, DeMar DeRozan is probably Sacramento's de facto backup 4, clearing minutes for the team's the team's deep wing rotation. I think that's interesting. I don't know if I would go with that as my biggest hole in the Kings roster, but I do nonetheless think that it is a problem. Obviously, you have Drew Eubanks, who, as they put, is a journeyman. You have Maxime Reynaud, who hasn't played a second of NBA actual basketball. And I still think it should be noted that Maxime, again, wasn't asked to be a high-level defender at Stanford. As a matter of fact, was pretty much told the opposite, was told, we need to keep you out of foul trouble because of how important you are to the offensive end. And so I just think that there's going to be a lot of warts and development that need to happen with Maxime with the defensive end of the floor, which pretty much does give Drew Eubanks a little bit of a clearing. I know today is the day that Dario Saric is able to be traded. A lot of people don't expect Saric to be on the roster come first game, but he nonetheless is an option. And I guess you would have to have the conversation of Drew Eubanks versus Dario Saric. I think for me, it's just really, I think I would more fall into give Maxime those minutes, but knowing the situation Doug is in, and it's not as if it's a high pressure win now situation 100%, but I just think with Eubanks being a veteran guy, with Saric, again, being a veteran guy, I think at the very least, the first 15 to 20 games, I would expect those guys to be in the rotation, see what they can give you. Give Maxime a little bit of room to learn and to get comfortable and to maybe fill out his body a little bit more. But nonetheless, I mean, even the more I talk about it, I feel like front court reserve absolutely is an issue. I have Saric as the backup center. I think Eubanks, to me, they're a little bit interchangeable just in terms of like where they're at in terms of tiers. Like neither of them are anything you're going to be excited about. Frankly, both of them are probably better off as third options than as your backup. But I've just seen Sarge do more. Again, it's not really even a massive compliment or a backing for me of Saric. It's more just of the two. And Kyle, please, I don't know if you have many thoughts on the Saric versus Eubanks comparison. To me, it's more just Eubanks is a little bit more traditional of a strong inside presence, and Saric provides a little bit more stretching, but I don't know if you would want to run Saric out as the primary backup center.
No. Alan reached out to multiple people in the Denver area about what was going on with the Saric thing, and they were like, he was unplayable. Just simply unplayable, like not an NBA player last year on the Nuggets. And the Warriors had benched him too at one point. This is a multi-year run of Dario Saric being unplayable, but somehow getting money. My kind of philosophy on the backup 4 is that it can't be DeMar DeRozan.
No,
because
I completely I should have pointed that out. I completely disagree with them saying DeMar DeRozan's the de facto
just
backup.
Can't happen.
It's not happening.
I've seen Aaron Gordon just demolish that dude in the post. There's just nothing you can do about that. If you can shoot 36% on corner threes, you can play backup 4 for the Sacramento Kings. That's any of them. Isaac, Maxime, Eubanks, anyone. If you can hit Saric, if you can hit 36% on corner threes. That's all we're asking you to do as the backup 4. And like, just not get beat on defense. But even if you do get beat on defense, we'll still play you. So I just, people are saying Saric just isn't it. The long-term answer is that their backup 4 is probably not on the roster right now.
I think that's probably it. Or, I mean, if we're talking about the 4 specifically, I think the 4 is a lot less complicated than the 5. The 4, I've got no problem throwing Isaac Jones out there. I think the 36% from corner is definitely a good shout, because that is something that they specifically asked Isaac Jones to get better at, is hitting from the corner. And I think it's for this very reason, so that they feel okay with throwing him out there if he is in a lineup with Sabonis. But I kind of jotted down what I think the rotation is going to look like a couple weeks ago. I put Keegan as the starting power forward, obviously. I have Eubanks as the backup power forward, and then Isaac Jones behind him, and then Sabonis, Saric, and Reyno. I just don't think there's really any way that Maxime is getting minutes to start off the season. I would love to see it. I think he's definitely and it's, I mean, I just think it is true, and I am more excited to see what Maxime Reyno brings than Nick Clifford. I'm not saying I think Maxime Reyno is definitely going to be better than Nick Clifford, if that makes sense. I am more so just in terms of literally excitement and curiosity of what he can bring. And I think it does have to play into where they're going to, or if they're going to be able to get minutes next year. I just think the question of, is Maxime Reyno an NBA player we'll just say day one? I'm not expecting him to play day one, but essentially, can Maxime Reyno give you quality rotational minutes in year one? I'm more excited and think that that's going to play a bigger role in the Kings season, good or bad, than what Nick Clifford's going to do. And I guess I can explain that a little bit more on the other side of the break, because I do think that really in itself presents a really fascinating question about what the Kings' minutes in their rotation is going to look like this season. We also got to get into Dennis Schroder winning Eurobasket MVP along with the gold medal. Is he a Hall of Famer? We talked about it on Friday. We'll talk about it next right here. Alan Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Roseville Auto Mall.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Monday, kicking off a new work and school week. Comfortable beginning to today thanks to just a subtle Delta breeze. For the afternoon, it's going to run warmer. Plenty of sunshine expected along with light northwest winds. Highs today in the low to mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Fresh adventures await at the Roseville Auto Mall. With 20 top brands and thousands of vehicles in stock daily, your new adventure is just a short drive or click away. Level up with a new vehicle during our trade-in and trade-up event now at the Roseville Auto Mall. Driven to be the best.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Until 11/1, select models only.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
The final days of Sacramento Rivercats baseball season are here, and you don't want to miss the action. Whether you're looking for an exciting night with friends or a special night with the family, there's no better place than Sutter Health Park. Join us from September 16th through the 21st as we celebrate giveaways, special theme uniforms, Fan Appreciation Day, and more. Get your tickets at rivercats.com before the season ends.
Hi, Sacramento. It's the No Surprise guys at Bell Brothers Plumbing. Need a water heater or plumbing repair? Call Bell Brothers. Clogged drain? We'll clear it for $67. Plus a free camera inspection, a $250 value. We're fast, on time, and the price we quote is the price you pay. No surprises. Plus, we'll check your plumbing for free. Call Bell Brothers or book at thenosurpriseguys.com.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily. Brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza, the way it ought to be.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's best Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all. Model year-end savings are going on now. Drive away in your favorite Honda. It's savings you just can't say no to. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Go on a culinary adventure at one of Europe's biggest food events coming to the Americas, Terra Madre. Discover more flavors to savor, more ideas to chew on, more voices shaping the future of food. Join chefs Alice Waters, Sean Sherman, and Jeremiah Tower for tastings, pop-ups, food demos, and panels, all celebrating good, clean, and fair food for all. Terra Madre Americas, September 26th through 28th in Sacramento. Savor the journey. Visit TerraMadreUSA.com for more details. Terra Madre Americas is supported by Sacramento International Airport and brought to you by Slow Food and Visit Sacramento.
Hey, this is Jelly Roll. This National Recovery Month, start your recovery journey. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at ChooseChangeCA.org.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
It's Kids Night at Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, September 20th, presented by your local Tractor Supply stores. Enjoy free games, prizes, and family fun, plus racing action from late models, legends, pure stocks, and more. Kids 10 and under are always free. Visit Stockton99.com for tickets.
MRI after the game, then had a follow-up appointment today with the Commanders team physician. Test revealed a knee sprain that puts his status this week in doubt. Of course, the Raiders playing tonight against the former San Diego, now Los Angeles Chargers, Superchargers, if you will.
Well, not anymore.
Well, yeah, not anymore. Of course,
they used to be the San Diego Superchargers.
Yeah, well, there's nothing really super about them.
Now they're just the Chargers.
Yeah. Which I did see, I think it might have been, I want to say it was Jimmy Fallon maybe had a bit on like, what is a Charger?
What is a Charger?
Like, because their logo's a lightning bolt, obviously.
Sure.
Like, is it, what is is it like a charge forward? Like, what is, I mean, obviously it's meant to be some sort of electrical charge, but like I even with San Diego, and you would probably know more about, like, is there any sort of connection point with like lightning in San Diego?
I literally don't know.
Like,
well, no, because they were originally the Los Angeles Chargers, like when they first were founded.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we should go back and listen to the Superchargers song and see if they
gotta be some. I mean, I guess, the Rams, there's not like there's just a ton of Rams.
But like it's an animal. That makes sense.
Least, right, sure. And it's charging, headbutting, football, headbutts. Like,
sure,
there's some sort of correlation. But
like there's, teams have random animals all the time. Isn't there a penguins in college football, Youngstown?
Penguins in hockey.
Yeah, exactly. So like they just pick random animals all the time.
Shout out the Pelicans for some reason.
There might be pelicans in New Orleans. I don't know.
Maybe. I hope so.
There's definitely not penguins in Pittsburgh. I know that.
I can guarantee you that one.
So like that random animal is fine. Charger is not a thing.
It's just not a thing.
Other than a phone charger.
Yeah.
which just didn't exist in 1960.
How strange. And I mean, you can get into what's a Laker too. I mean, it's just
Mercyhurst Lakers played Sac State.
I did also notice that in Pennsylvania. Not really like.
I mean, Lake Erie.
I guess, but it feels like. I mean, that has to be it, right? I mean,
well, yeah, they're in Erie, so I'm guessing it's got to be a Lake Erie thing.
Wow, there you go. Well, I mean, it just doesn't make as much sense as like Minnesota, which is obviously all of the Great Lakes. So, yeah. Anyways, we can get into why people are named anything for as long as anybody. But let's just wrap up this Kings conversation that we were having in the last segment. More so, and this is again, I feel like this has become a staple of mine, is conversations that I have with people that spark questions that I just don't think of. And Kyle and I on Friday had one where one of my friends was just kind of loosely throwing around that Josh Jacobs was the top 5 running back of this era. And, we just had a lengthy conversation, Kyle and I did on Friday, about if that was even true. And of the same ilk, I had a friend who, when I was in Chicago, actually asked, who between the Kings rookies, if you had to guess now, is going to get more minutes between the two of Maxime Reynaud and Nick Clifford? And of course, if you're not really giving it much thought, I think Nick is the more obvious choice. He was the higher draft pick. There's tons of different positions he can play. To me, he can play the 2. You can steal some minutes with him at the point guard. I have not loved hearing people throw Nick at the point guard. I just don't think, to me, point guard is like something where you just are a point. Like, it's just something that you know how to do, and you're kind of born, not to do the quarterback thing, but I think you kind of are born with the traits, or with the mentality, I guess, of being a point guard, sharing the sugar, understanding where people want to get the ball and at what points in the game they need to get the ball, what matchups they like. So I haven't loved the Nick at point guard thing, but I think he can steal minutes there. He can steal minutes at the 2. He can steal minutes at the 3. But I think the real nitty gritty of the question is, that's all fine and dandy, but he has no clear path to minutes, where we just laid out where Maxime Reynaud, in theory, he could be the backup center. I think the Kings feel very comfortable and want to get very comfortable with Maxime and Sabonis on the floor at the same time. So that, again, gives Maxime a little bit more of a clear path. Again, he's got to clear Isaac Jones, who was not, he's a two-way player last year. He's clearing Drew Eubanks, who was journeyman, could have been out of the league. Dario Saric, who Kyle just eloquently put last segment, nobody wants. Multiple teams
Unplayable.
Wanted him to be something for them last season, and both teams washed their hands of it and said, we're good. So, it's just, in my opinion, I think the answer is actually Maxime, just because he has the more clear and obvious route to minutes. Is that crazy?
So you're talking about between Nick and Maxime.
Just between those
two.
So
I think the question is about Maxime, because I feel like Nick's role is just going to be plug him into the Jake LaRavia spot and go.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Jake LaRavia played 11, 12 minutes a game, basically, at most. Yeah. Then he got hurt. I think he only played 20 games on the Kings, which is still insane that they gave up what they did for 20 games of Jake LaRavia. But Maxime, Brennan talked to Kyle Smith, the Stanford coach, who also coached Isaac at Wazoo before going to Stanford. And he talked about, Maxime is probably a 4 and Isaac is a 5.
Right, yes.
Now, Isaac probably can't make it as a 5 in the NBA, but just because he's only 6'8", but it's like his skill set is more attuned to a 5.
Yes.
And that makes me think that if that's true, he's probably going to have to go overseas at some point to get significant minutes, because unless you're Draymond Green, you can't really be 6'8", and you got to be playing elite level defense to be 6'8" and be a center in the NBA.
You got to be Montrezl Harrell, right? Like, that's, to me, that's the example that he's just not. Like, he's an energy guy, Isaac is, but he's much more of an offensive energy guy than a defensive.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Maxime has a chance to be, I kind of call it tall man, big man situation.
Sure.
Like Anthony
situation.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Chet and Hartenstein is the example I point to. Like, Chet is tall man, and they can get away with him at the 5, but you're better off with tall man, big man, and then Keegan's more of a wing. So, yeah, I think it just depends what you think about Maxime.
Yeah, and also, I mean, again, for the Nick part of it, I can't get him past a third string, and that's no disrespect. It's more just where the Kings' rotation is at. I have Schroder as starter. In pencil, I have Russell Westbrook as their backup. Then I have Malik Monk as their third string. Like, I think as their third string playmaker, if Russ isn't there, I think Malik is probably their backup point guard. And then Devin Carter, who, again, we've had many conversations. Devin Carter is going to be on this team, and we can have a conversation about where Devin Carter's minutes might potentially come from. It almost has to be at that backup point guard spot, because if we move over to the twos, Zach LaVine's starting. Malik Monk is definitely getting those backup minutes, if not at the two. Then you have Keon Ellis, and then I have Nick Clifford. And then if you want to have the argument at the three, DeRozan starting, then I think the backup three is probably a LaVine-Murray mixture, and then it's probably Nick Clifford. So again, at best, I have Nick Clifford as the third option in all of these positions. And again, it has nothing to do with where I think Nick Clifford's at in his development or how good or bad I think he's going to be. It's just a matter of, I know for a fact Zach LaVine's getting minutes. I know for a fact DeMar DeRozan's getting minutes. We know Dennis Schroeder's getting minutes. Malik Monk has to get minutes. Keon Ellis has to get minutes. And then Keegan Murray, is he going to get all of his minutes at the four? Maybe.
I don't know. Are we going to play Keegan, Reyno, and Sabonis together? I'm not sure.
That seems like it's maybe too big, maybe a little too slow. It depends how the Kings want to play this year. We really don't even know in terms of style. Like, I would assume they're going to play a lot more of a half-court offense this year, with DeRozan kind of being the main hub. I know they want to play Zach LaVine and run as much as possible, but I said it before the season, or before the offseason even started. I thought the Kings' best route to success this year, if they really truly wanted to be successful, was to be a gritty, defensive-minded team that has enough offensive superpower or star power, or whatever you want to say, to sneak through and end up getting 105, 110 points. But I think they would have had to win on defense. Their identity is going to be tough this year, but I just don't really see a clear path to minutes for Nick Clifford. And for that reason, if you were to ask me today, who do I think will get more minutes this season, I just think Maxime Reynaud has a more open path. And again, Maxime can look undersized or underweight, I guess, to Kyle's big man, tall man conversation. And maybe that can be something that loses him minutes because he can't stand with the physicality of the NBA, or maybe he's just not ready, or maybe it is the defense thing that I alluded to earlier, where, again, at Stanford, he was so important to their offense as their offensive hub. They would tell him, hey, we don't want you going for every block. And so that, I think, mentally, when you have that mentality for a couple years, your development is going to be a little bit further back in terms of just, hey, I just know when somebody drives like that, I need to go to the other side to be that weak side rim protection. Like, is that in Maxime Reynaud's brain just off of intangibles, or is that something that he's going to have to learn with time? And frankly, that's something where it needs to be an instinct. It can't be something that you think about, because the NBA happens so fast and moves so fast. And speaking of moving fast, the Kings' fast point guard Dennis Schroder is on his way to the Hall of Fame. Are we going to do it? I guess we're really going to have that conversation. Is Dennis Schroder a Hall of Famer? We'll talk about that on the other side. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-292-4382. That's 800-292-4382. 800-292-4382.
Alan Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Ben Bowden, out with that left shoulder lat strain, got an MRI last week and showed a grade 2 lat strain. He's currently shut down from throwing. His expected return is TBD. Denzel Clark, out with that right adductor strain, is set to run the bases in mid-September and could begin a rehab assignment in mid-September. If all goes well, his expected return late September. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Hey, I'm Alan Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Well, the A's will open the season next year on March 26th in Toronto, and the full slate of games that day will mark the earliest traditional opening day in Major League history. Now, as far as the Dodgers coming to West Sacramento for the first time, that series will begin on June 29th.
Welcome to Dugout Radio, the undisputed home of Boomtown Baseball.
The Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity, baby. Our next caller is
Stacy. How do you stay locked in on every pitch and play?
We stream it all live on Xfinity Internet with low lag, 99.99% network reliability, and speeds faster than a base runner beating the throw to home plate.
I stream on my TV, tablets, even my smart fridge.
Smart fridge?
With all those games, we gotta refuel.
Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
With football in the air, fall is almost here. Time to start thinking about the cooler weather ahead and whether your heater will be able to get you through the winter. Our heater fell apart last winter, so who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention former and present inmates of women's prisons in California. If you are currently or were an inmate of Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, also known as Chowchilla Women's Facility, Valley State Prison for Women in Chowchilla, Institute for Women in Chino, or Folsom Women's Facility in Represa, and were a victim of sexual abuse, now is the time to come forward, as you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. If you were an inmate at any of these prisons at any time and were subjected to sexual abuse from staff members, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Call our California Women's Prison Helpline now at 800-408-1240. The deadline to file a claim may be close. Call now to get the justice, closure, and the financial settlement you deserve. Even if it was long ago, call our law firm's Women's Prison Sexual Abuse Helpline right now at 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240.
At Big O Tires, now through September 28th, get $40 to $60 in rebate savings on sets of 4 Michelin tires. Plus, Big O Tires will match up to $60 in instant savings. Installation required, disposal fees extra, not good with other offers. See Big O dealer for details.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Chris Watkins filling in for one Alan Stiles. You're listening to the Alan Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports. I did just get a text from Alan during that last segment. He said, your guy, JJ McCarthy, that is, lost my friend. For all those who know Alan, you definitely know who Alan's friend is. Lost his friend a lot of money last night said he was listening on his first doctor's appointment with his new baby girl. Appreciate Alan tuning in. He said, doctor's offices, man. We're waiting here for an hour. Insane. What are we doing? Drop. This guy cannot stop.
What are we doing?
That's crazy that he's asking me to play drops from his phone.
Literally just asked you to play a drop.
What are we doing?
While on vacation.
Yeah, didn't even do it. He didn't text me.
No,
this is not like a chain or anything.
No.
He just texted you specifically.
And he knew I would read it on air, and he knew that you would have to then cue said drop.
That's a great job by
This guy's
him.
playing chess, man. This
Honestly,
dude is just, he gets it.
That was a great job by him.
It, dude. This guy
knew you would read it on the air.
Just nuts.
Insert what are we doing drop. And then we didn't talk about this before. Just would know instinctively that I would know what to hit.
What are we doing?
You mentioned my guy JJ McCarthy, and we also got news during the break. Not good news for me.
When
Well, if
it
I would
breaks.
be funny. No, well, yeah, I guess.
Well, it technically
does
did
kinda,
break.
Yeah, it did break. Thankfully, nothing broke. But JJ McCarthy, this is from Adam Schefter, suffered an ankle injury in last night's game that will leave him unlikely to play this weekend against the Bengals. So in these past two breaks that we've had, we have Jaden Daniels more than likely not playing next week against the Raiders. And now we have one JJ McCarthy who will be out next week as well as they take on the Bengals, which will be interesting as that will be a now backup bowl.
Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning.
Carson Wentz and Jake Browning. Man.
What a great. Remember last year when there was like the Vikings have 4 quarterbacks and now it's Carson Wentz.
They were all bad, to be fair. I mean, Nick Mullins was okay. He could at least put numbers up, but the Vikings quarterbacks last year were bad. I don't know what to expect with Carson Wentz. I'm not expecting good from Carson Wentz, I'll tell you that.
As someone who watched a whole season of Kansas City football, one snap away from Carson Wentz playing, I was not thrilled.
Super excited for it.
I never saw him play, fortunately, so I don't know, but was not thrilled with Carson Wentz as the backup.
I would guess this will probably be a 1-week thing. Mike Garafolo puts out Carson Wentz got starts with the Rams and Chiefs in Week 18. With the Rams and Chiefs in Week 18, the last 2 years with starters resting. Sunday, he will yet again get an option. It will be his first start with a team at full strength since 2022 with the Commanders. So Carson Wentz back in the starting role, at least for the week when it comes to that one. I just don't know what to
look.
Expect for that one.
You as a Vikings fan,
I'm expecting bad, but yeah.
You've been through the ringer. You've been through some bad seasons and bad quarterbacks, but for a normal fan base, this would be crushing. Your rookie quarterback that you're holding all of Justin Jefferson's career hopes on going down.
That really just needs reps, as many reps as possible.
Exactly. Got to figure out if he's good or not. Now he's hurt again.
If there's one coach I trust with this kind of situation, it is Kevin O'Connell. He's gotten really good performances out of backups, notably Josh Dobbs that 1 week. And then, as I mentioned, Nick Mullins would put up numbers when he would fill in for the Vikings. Was not super successful, would also turn the ball over a ton, but I'm just intrigued to see what Carson Wentz has, if anything. Is he, I think a big reason why he really fell off was his mobility just completely went out the door, and that was obviously a big part of what made him so attractive in the draft was him being like a Josh Allen type figure. And we saw it for a little bit, and then Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, and we never really saw him again. Moving on, speaking of Super Bowls, by the way, Dennis Schroder pretty much won the Super Bowl of European basketball, as it is. It's kind of not really that
Senor segue strikes again.
It was more for the Allen Stiles segue of it. Over the weekend on Sunday, we talked about it a ton on Friday. Germany made it to the Eurobasket final. They took on Turkey and Alperen Şengün. Actually, Turkey got off to a really hot start. Looked like they were going to surprise a ton of people. By the end, Germany won comfortably, I'd say. Dennis Schroder hit 2 really big shots to seal it, which was great to see. Didn't have an incredible game. I think he finished with 14 points, 12 assists in that final, but still nonetheless was named the tournament MVP. Also got first team all Eurobasket, along with, as Kyle mentioned, for the Olympic first team. It was pretty humorous to see NBA All-Star Hall of Famer, and then Dennis Schroder. Little bit similar with the Eurobasket first team. I think it's Schroder, Luka, Giannis. I want to say Franz got in there, and then Şengün as well. So again, all really bright young stars. And then shout out, happy birthday, 30-year-old Dennis Schroder, 32-year-old Dennis Schroder, 32-year-old Dennis Schroder, who now has quite the international resume. Again, wins gold in Eurobasket, wins the MVP for Eurobasket. He, as Kyle mentioned on Friday, 2024 Olympic first teamer. They did not medal, however, in the Olympics, but
they got fourth place.
They did get fourth place. First loser, whatever you want to say. 2023 World Cup, they won gold. He also won MVP. And then in Eurobasket 2022, Germany took bronze. Of course, if you've been on social media, if you've looked up Dennis Schroder news stories, the big talk has been Dennis Schroder going to essentially now be a shoo-in for the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's really tough when you look at the list of Eurobasket and World Cup MVPs. Sergei Belov, not Drazen Petrovic, but then Drazen Petrovic, Tony Kukoc, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, and Dennis Schroder. That is the list of people who have won Eurobasket and World Cup MVP. All of those players have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, with, of course, the exception of Dennis Schroder. So it just appears, whether it's right, wrong, whether you think it's crazy, whether you think there should be an NBA Hall of Fame, it just seems like it's going to happen now that Dennis Schroder, he has 3 seasons that he just signed up for here in Sacramento, seems as if he is going to be a Basketball Hall of Famer, which I'm not going to draw any crazy conclusions of. I'm not going to tell you that this means Dennis Schroder is, a sneaky fringe all-star point guard who just needs an opportunity. It just means that, again, something I've been trying to scream from rooftops, Dennis Schroder is not bad. He is not a bad point guard. He is, as a matter of fact, I would say he's incredibly solid. And that's really it. And, I think some people take that as a negative. Some people might hear that and say, I don't really care to have the, bottom 15 starting point guard in the NBA. But I just think that's exactly where Dennis is. I think he floats anywhere from, maybe close to 30 to, I think when he's on, I think you feel like he's a top 20 point guard. And again, that might not sound like much of an accomplishment. It might sound small, but I think especially considering where the Kings were at this offseason and with their point guard situation, I'll take it. And again, I'm not saying Dennis Schroeder's going to show up on any, first team all NBA list or anything like that. But again, I will just scream that Dennis Schroeder will not be terrible for this Kings team. I just think he's going to be incredibly solid. Now, what we're trying to figure out is if Jonathan Kuminga is going to be on this Kings team or on any team, as a matter of fact, starting next season. Kyle and I were talking about how crazy media day can get with this Kaminga situation. It's absolutely insane. And Shams Charania and Anthony Slater gave us an update this morning on where things have been with the Jonathan Kuminga saga and where things currently stand. You definitely don't want to miss that at the top of the hour. You are listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Let's go.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Welcome into the Alan Stiles Show. Happy lunch to all those celebrating.
Celebrating lunch on a Monday.
Hey, man. It's the little things, you know. Can't take them for granted.
As someone who hasn't had a proper lunch at work in 8 months, let me tell you.
Especially at noon. Like, that's the one thing I found is that you assume, like, oh, yeah, noon's like your time where everyone's going to, you know, go hit the lunch. And what I remember from working the office gig that I had for a minute here is I would not take my lunch until like 2:30 or 3 o'clock all the time. Because the amount of stuff that would just get backed up and pushed. And then sometimes it's even like, well, you know, I get out of here at 5. And so if I take my lunch at 2:30 or 3:30, it's not really much to do when I come back. So.
I just feel like
levels.
I feel like that's just overworking yourself.
I mean, there's definitely pros and cons, and I would say the literally only pro is that, yeah, you work so much in the front end that your back end is empty, but phrasing.
Hey now.
Phrasing. Well, I like the song chosen. It's a good one. Shut up, blast. Let's see what team Jonathan Kuminga
going to be blasting off to.
There could have been a lot of different routes.
Senor Segway strikes again.
Twice, even. This one's going to be a little bit wordy, so just bear with us here, as I think it's incredibly important for us to set the stage, and I know everyone has heard it all summer, especially on this here time slot and this here program, the Alan Stiles Show on Sacktown Sports. There's just been an infinite amount of Jonathan Kuminga conversations, maybe sometimes when there wasn't any conversation, but hey, It's how this summer has played out. It's the only thing going. And somehow, and I guess in a miracle for Northern California radio hosts, it's still going on today. Somehow, some way, we are still September 5th. We are literally halfway through September, and we are still eating off of Jonathan Kuminga stuff.
So before Alan left, he said the four people that he needs to give a hug to when this summer is over is Jonathan Kuminga.
Absolutely.
Brett Siegel.
Oh, yeah.
Me.
Yes. 100%.
And the illegal fisherman in Natomas that he keeps spying on. Just carrying content throughout the summer for him.
That has missed my radar completely, is Alan's feud with an illegal fisher.
Yeah. So, anyways, the short story before we get to Kaminga, because there's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's man-made lakes in Natomas.
Yep.
And they put fish in there, but you're not supposed to fish. So there's signs that say no fishing.
Okay.
People are fishing in the right next to the no fishing signs. They are fishing for the fish. Alan goes to the park and he starts snitching on the people.
Did not.
Well, he took a video of one person. Then second time a kid was there and the kid started filming him. So now he stopped filming people.
The kid filmed him filming?
Well, no, he wasn't filming the kid, but he filmed an adult who was fishing. So then second time a kid was there and he was like kind of watching him.
Gotcha.
The kid filmed him.
Okay.
There was a third time that a person who looked like they might have needed the food was fishing.
Oh, okay. Understood.
And
teach a man to
fish, anyways, this just has been a whole ongoing saga all summer.
I can tell. Well, I fortunately was not privy to any of that, and now I'm burdened with knowing all of that information, and as are the listeners. And speaking of being burdened with information, again, there's so much information here from Shams Charania and Anthony Slater, who broke down everything on the Jonathan Kuminga front. And again, I'm just going to straight up read their words because I don't want there to be any confusion as to the links and the stories. And again, there's so many different contracts that have been offered. I'm going to try and keep it as concise and yet as clear as possible as to what has gone on. So they write here, the Warriors had shut down sign-in trades steadfast all offseason long in declining frameworks of Royce O'Neal and a second-round compensation from the Phoenix Suns. And people took this as breaking news. Kyle, who was on the list of those four people Alan needs to thank. Kyle's been here just about every day, and he can tell you, I don't believe this is breaking news.
This is not breaking news. It's been reported multiple times.
Malik Monk and a future first-round pick from the Sacramento Kings, sources say, was another deal that was declined by the Warriors.
We can tell you exactly what pick it was. It was the 2031st, top 10 protected, and if it didn't convert, it would have gone to 2031.
There you go. So again, not breaking news. People are taking that part as breaking news. There is definitely some new news in here, not to quote the Kelseys, but there is some new news in here that we will get to. Kuminga had made clear his lack of interest in a 2-year $45 million standing offer with the Warriors that they had put in front of him, and he is not a fan of that deal, the 2-year $45 million, because the team option in the second season, the team option on the second season, and waiving the de facto no trade clause. Essentially, the thing that Kuminga doesn't like about that offer is it gives the Warriors way too much control from his standpoint. So they go on to write, it's no surprise Kuminga's phone lit up on the business front over the past few weeks. This I had not heard. His teammates, Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, have both reached out to Kuminga regarding his plans and his mindset. Late last week, Mike Dunleavy, the Warriors GM, offered Kuminga, and this is new. I don't remember hearing this. So this is as of late last week. Mike Dunleavy offered Jonathan Kuminga a 3-year, $75 million deal with a team option in that third season, which, again, Jonathan Kuminga is not a fan of. That is $48.3 million guaranteed in the first 2 seasons, and basically the same per-year salary that Josh Giddey just got as he re-signed with the Bulls, 4 years, $100 million. The difference, it's half the length, 2 years with the player, 2 years with a team option included for a third year, so half the years of the Giddey contract, in a team-controlled third season, and a subliminal understanding that the contract is more of a trade asset than a commitment to partnership. So again, I think the thing Kuminga doesn't like about that is the Warriors definitely have the flexibility to trade him, but if for whatever reason they just want to keep him, the basketball situation figures itself out and he's a bench player and they like him in that spot or whatever it is, I think, again, the problem that Jonathan Kuminga has with that is, and as I've stated countless times, Jonathan Kuminga does not want to play for the Warriors. And fundamentally, that is the problem with all of the Warriors' offers as well. Kyle, you can also please barge in on this at any point because, again, this is quite wordy. So any further conversation we can have, I think, will be good. Slater and Shamsharania go on to write, their unwillingness to budge on the team option in those specific two offers is a major part of the holdup. Kaminga gripping onto the first lever of control he has had in his young career is resistant to the idea, sources said. The only non-team option offer the Warriors have made Kaminga is a 3-year, $54 million fully guaranteed deal, sources say, an average of $18 million per year. And again, Kaminga does not want to play for the Warriors, so even though that's close to, I believe, the $20 million that we've been reporting, it is around where Kuminga wants, still under the value, and pretty much that's locking him in to being a Warrior unless they have a deal that just makes sense for them. But again, at $18 million per season, that kind of a little bit caps off the caliber of player that you can bring back. They go on to write, again, just absolutely crazy, all of this that is going on in one summer. One of the latest counters, sources said. So again, last week, Dunleavy, 3-year, $75 million with a team option. One of the latest counters, sources said, came in the past week. 1 year on a negotiable number, presented as a souped-up version of the qualifying offer, getting Kuminga a financial bump up from $8 million and unrestricted free agency next summer, while wiping away the inherent no-trade clause and allowing the Warriors to use him as an expiring contract. So essentially, that would be just kicking the can down the line.
That would essentially be, hey, instead of you taking we're going to pay you to get rid of your no trade clause, basically. So 1 year, $8 million, no trade clause on the qualifying offer. The Warriors would basically say, we'll give you X amount of money, but you don't get a no trade clause because the Warriors just don't want him to have the no trade clause.
Yeah. And I think the problem with that deal from a everyone except for a Kuminga and Warrior side is, I don't know how many teams are going to be jumping at the opportunity, especially with how this offseason's gone. Jonathan Kuminga is becoming an unrestricted free agent on that deal. You end up just running the same risk of, well, who's to say this guy who clearly has an agenda for where he thinks he should be in this league, why should I sign up for that?
Or you have to trade him to a place where he's willing to sign an extension, right? If Sacramento comes back to the table and offers the same Malik Monk first-round pick package and it works financially, they could say, hey, Kuminga's agent, here's our offer. Will you sign it as a condition of the trade kind of situation? Like some stars have done before.
Okay. Very, very interesting. So again, there's so much to this. It says
it's kind of a compromise for Kuminga. It's like, I don't have a no trade clause, but no team's going to trade for me just for me to leave, unless it's like a superstar trade and he's just a salary filler. At which point the Warriors would say, well, we don't care what you think. We're just going to send you to that team because we're going to get, I don't know, insert $40 million player here.
Okay, so they go on to say, again, kind of like Kyle just mentioned, it would serve as a bridge, a deal that gives both sides the ability to examine another year together. There is an October 1st deadline for all of this, which we mentioned as well, which could definitely make Media Day, which is slated for the 27th of September. Could make it pretty interesting that Kuminga doesn't actually have to make any form of decision before October 1st. And they're saying pretty much, it is similar to the concept of the Brooklyn Nets proposed deal for Cam Thomas. Dunleavy declined the concept, sources say, and it is Lacob who is apparently against the ballooned 1-year offer, leaving the Warriors too vulnerable to losing Kuminga next summer for nothing, which is another part of it as well. If they can't get the deal done, well, then Kuminga's just leaving an unrestricted free agency. There's also no guarantees that they could work together a sign-and trade. This part, I was under the understanding that this was the complete opposite. Slater and Shams go on to write, Kuminga's personal relationship with Kerr isn't the problem, which I was under the understanding that it was. And clearly that was a misunderstanding on my part. But my understanding was that Steve Kerr had pretty much said in every way possible, like, you're not a fit for this team. You're not really who I want. The messaging they write, the messaging from Kerr and the Warriors is that Kuminga would have a substantial role to open next season, per sources. They could use his youth and his scoring on the wing, but in negotiations, Kuminga's side has regularly referred to some postseason comments where Kerr highlighted the difficulty of fitting Kuminga next to Curry, Butler, and Green for heavy minutes and expecting to win at the highest level. It's proof to them that the basketball fit is less than ideal for the trajectory of Kuminga's career. That's why they voiced this message to the Warriors front office in the process. Sell the contract, not the basketball. Phoenix's 4-year, 80 to 88 million, and Sacramento's 3-year, 63 to 66 million have attached player options to their proposed deals and pitched a starting power forward job, sources said. Is that new? That feels like that's new.
Relatively. So we talked before about, like, okay, if you trade Malik Monk, obviously you're going to play Kuminga at the 4
right,
and Keegan at the 3. You're not trading for Kuminga and then putting him on the bench. So I think we just had assumed that that was the case, and then they would, come back to DeRozan and be like, hey.
Because that's the part, right? Yeah. That's really the part. You can get rid of Malik Monk. That still doesn't necessarily open the spot, but it might open, sorry to cut you off also, it might open the role of that sixth man to maybe then walk to DeMar and say, fill that.
Or tell DeMar, hey, we're sorry. We're sorry. We know this is messed up. We're going to try and do right by you. Just give us some time, kind of situation.
And if I had to imagine, to your point, that's probably how he would take it as well, is like, I mean, I get it. Like, Kuminga's 24, but I signed a 3-year deal here in Sacramento too, in a little bit of a non-guaranteed,
with Mike Brown, De'Aaron Fox, and Monty McNair.
Much different understanding to DeRozan signing that contract. Crazy enough, it was like a year ago.
So it's not new. I think Brett Siegel had mentioned, I don't know if it was reported that they guaranteed him a role, but it was pretty much understood that he was going to be the starting 4, Keegan was going to be the starting 3, and that was the direction they were going to go.
All right, well, let's wrap this article up at least. This is the last little portion that I felt was important or pertinent to the Kings conversation. They write, this is Anthony Slater and Shams Charania this morning revealed just tons about the Jonathan Kuminga situation. We're going over it right now. Again, where he stood all summer long, along with where things stand with the Kings right now. They write, Kuminga's greatest leverage is that 1-year, $8 million qualifying offer attached to an inherent no-trade clause. If Kuminga returns on that deal, he can veto any trade next season, and on an $8 million expiring contract without bird rights attached, his market value is greatly diminished, even if he were to approve a trade. The Warriors will lose control of a crucial roster building tool during Curry's final seasons of contention, walk a potential major distraction into the locker room, which has been my biggest point as well. As you're trying to kind of set up Steph's last years here, you're going to bring a straight up locker room pariah into that scene. I don't think you want a guy who doesn't want to be there when you're all trying to build towards the same goal. They also write in a risk to be watching Kuminga walk away for nothing last summer. This is the last part that I'll read straight from the article. They go on to write, but there are side benefits to the overall net negative that are being considered as part of the equation, sources said. That's from the Warriors side. Kuminga returning on the qualifying offer, this is again from the Warriors perspective, would allow Golden State to remain below the first apron, which has Golden State been under the first apron their entire run?
Not since Joe Lacob has owned the team. I don't think so.
There's no way. So that is a benefit.
Which is also insane when they're paying like 80% of their salary cap to Curry,
3 guys,
Jimmy, and Draymond.
Absolutely insane. So they would remain below the first apron. They would no longer be a repeater tax team, which is really like the really big tax that I guess you pay in the new CBA. They would save roughly $70 million in luxury tax money if Kuminga takes the $8 million qualifying offer. They would still have Kuminga also, which is a benefit, in the rotation for a season on a cheap deal and would retain his bird rights, giving them the opportunity to revisit a long-term deal next summer or get value out of him in a sign and trade scenario similar to what they did when Klay Thompson departed for Dallas. The Warriors worked Thompson into a 6-team deal that delivered them Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson. So there you go. That is all the words that Shams Charania and Anthony Slater had this morning on where things stand with the Kings, with Jonathan Kuminga, with the Warriors, with the Lakers, with the Dunleavy of it all. Not a lot of mention, frankly, of the Suns. So, and, there's not a ton of references to the Kings, but I think, especially, being fairly close to the situation, it does feel like, in my opinion, it's Kings or Warriors here.
Yes. Well, the Suns literally can't because they're literally the only deal they can offer is Royce O'Neal or Grayson Allen. They literally cannot move any other player in a trade, which
it's a situation they put themselves.
Yeah, their own fault for having to waive Bradley Beal and do all that stuff. The most fascinating part of this story, and again, I've been deep in the weeds on this with Allen for the last 3 months, but the most fascinating part of this story is late last week offering Kuminga 3 years, $75 million with a team option for the third season. Because we were talking about before, the difference between the 2-year 45 with a team and 2-year 45 with a player option is significant because that player option guarantees you, the player, the money. Right? You can
Unless your situation is like, that's the only reason someone would decline a player option is if the basketball situation isn't working.
Or you're going to get more money, right? That's the thing. You've guaranteed that as a baseline. That's a
good point, right?
And that's essentially the original deal had only, I think it was $22 million guaranteed. And then a team option for the second year.
That sounds right. Yes.
The gap between 22 million guaranteed and 18 million, or sorry, 8 point whatever on the qualifying offer. It's a lot, but you also get leverage back and you get control back. So
the potential contract that you can earn over 4 years.
Yes,
right.
You are giving up short-term money for long-term control. If they're offering $48 million guaranteed to Kuminga, that is a major development, even if there's a team option on the third year, because we've talked before. The Warriors' entire goal of this whole thing is to be completely flexible by 2027. They do not want to take on any contract, any long-term money. Kerr, Draymond, Jimmy, Steve Kerr.
I believe that's 2027
yes.
when they would be completely
They would be completely free to either go after Giannis, don't get Giannis, go after another star, or just buy Curry, buy everybody. We're just going to go to the bottom now kind of situation, which, hey, if that's the strategy you want to go with, that's the strategy they want to go with. It's not the worst idea in the world, but in doing the flexibility thing, they have boxed themselves into a corner, and it is fascinating that they're now willing to capitulate and give Kuminga that second year at $24 million, because that is a major development. It's harder for Kuminga to turn down $40 million guaranteed than it is to turn down $15 million guaranteed, basically.
Yeah, and in here as well, it is written that the Warriors have also viewed a player option as a non-starter in negotiations as well. So it's very unlikely that they would get any sort of player option if a deal were to be struck with the Warriors side of things. I think the Kings side of things did offer a player option to him.
But the Kings side also offered less than what is being offered by the Warriors in terms of total money. Or I should say money per year, right? Because total money with the team option, the Kings deal is still higher, but average annual salary, the Warriors offer is higher than what the Kings are offering.
Yeah, I believe the Kings deal would be about $22 million. I believe that would be all guaranteed. And then to your point, this new Warriors contract that they are saying 3 years, 75 would be $48 million guaranteed. And then who knows? And that's the other thing. Like, if he's going to last, I mean, let's just play it out and say he makes it through 2 years with that contract. I mean, at that point, what are the odds that it's already been squared away and you would probably want him on that third year, depending on if he would want to play on that?
Well, I think it depends what the Warriors want to do, because now that would take them up to the summer of 2027.
Right.
So either they say, hey,
timelines, baby.
Yeah, we're going to opt in and you're finally going to get your wish, Kaminga. You're going to just Curry's gone, Draymond's gone. You're just gonna run shop for a season where we win 15 games.
You'd also have to imagine Steve Kerr's probably gone at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, congratulations, Kuminga.
You got what you want.
You finally got your wish.
You just literally had to sit on the bench for like 2 years to kind of 4,
2,
maybe.
4, 6. Who's counting?
X amount of years in order to get it. And I don't know. I mean, it's really fascinating because it really truly is an NBA choose your own adventure book that Kaminga has here. It speaks to his talent. I mean, definitely. I'm not somebody who's massive on Jonathan Kuminga, but they're not. And you and I talked about this in the pre-show. It's crazy that somebody who isn't a star can have all of these commands and have this much leverage. But it's also just like a compliment, I guess, in a weird way to Kuminga and his team, because nobody has. I've never seen a situation like this.
Nobody's ever been willing to stand on business like this.
That is 100% what it's been, because everybody at the end of the day, like all these, especially these NBA guys, they like to say like I don't care about every single dollar. Like, I'll play for good teams. I'd much rather have a good unit than make sure I'm taken care of. But most of the time, whatever team offers, except for we might have time to get into it, Patrick Beverley turned down more money for maybe some other incentives. But for the most part, if NBA players see money, they take money. And to your point, Kyle, Jonathan Kuminga, say what you will about him, say what you will about his team, say what you will about how he has played. I think he's played this offseason. It's crazy. I'm curious to see, like, from a reputation standpoint, if it's done damage to him, but I feel like he's played it really well. And here he is, as recently as last week, getting an upped offer, which tells you a lot of people didn't think he had leverage. If you are getting more money as recently as last week, that's, to me, incentive to why should we sign anything before October 1st? Because, again, there's going to be a very awkward point of collision here where the Warriors are going to have media day and they're going to have 6 players that they're going to have to roll out there. And Seth Curry and GP2 and Al Horford are just going to have to like wait outside the building or something in an unofficial media day. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's going to be an absolute mess. Does anybody have any thoughts on anything that we just learned about this Jonathan Kuminga situation? Absolutely insane. We'll get into that. We'll, of course, talk some more Kings and get into some football on the other side. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics. Schedule a free inspection. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
With football in the air, fall is almost here. Time to start thinking about the cooler weather ahead and whether your heater will be able to get you through the winter. Our heater fell apart last winter, so who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
The final days of Sacramento Rivercats baseball season are here, and you don't want to miss the action. Whether you're looking for an exciting night with friends or a special night with the family, there's no better place than Sutter Health Park. Join us from September 16th through the 21st as we celebrate giveaways, special theme uniforms, Fan Appreciation Day, and more. Get your tickets at rivercats.com before the season ends.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. I am Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
It's Kids Night at Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, September 20th, presented by your local Tractor Supply stores. Enjoy free games, prizes, and family fun, plus racing action from late models, legends, pure stocks, and more. Kids 10 and under are always free. Visit Stockton99.com for tickets and info.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. All of them top quality, hand-selected by their general manager, Chuck Dean. You can see for yourself their huge selection at SacSuperstore.com with the lowest prices and the best car buying experiences anywhere. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Alan Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in. Got about an hour and a half left of today's program. Talked quite a wide variety of topics. Started off the show with some football. Actually didn't get to this note. I had it in the first segment. I never even got to it. This is some of your more in the weeds football stat here. Bird Gang. What you know about Bird Gang? All 5 NFL teams that are birds won this weekend. So there you go. Falcons beat the Vikings. Eagles beat the Chiefs. Cardinals beat the Panthers. Ravens beat the Browns. And the Seahawks beat the Steelers.
Oh. All your bird teams.
Bird Gang. So shout out that. That was one of the things that we actually didn't get to. Shout out G-Man with the Harrison Barnes call. I saw G-Man post the other day on socials. Cannot wait. Well, we're pretty much a month away, if you're counting preseason, from the first G-Man call.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Can't wait.
Was it October 7th is the first?
Something like that. October 7th sounds right, or at least that week, because it's media day, and then I think media day is like the start of training camp. They go a week of training camp, and then they start practices, extended training camp, really, essentially, until their first preseason game. So yeah, that's right around the corner, as crazy as it is. We mentioned that on Friday, but Kings basketball, or basketball in general, NBA basketball that is, will be back before you know it. WNBA playoffs kicked off this weekend. Watched some of it. It was all we as again, Kyle and I talked about it on the Friday show. WNBA had to slate their schedule for Sunday, essentially, because ESPN was like, this is the day that we have open, and you take it or leave it. Had a full Sunday slate of games. Started with the Valkyrie Lynx. Valkyrie looked good for about a half and then got absolutely demolished by the Lynx. It was a good playoff weekend for the most part. I saw the Liberty went into overtime with the Mercury. They got the win there. That should be that's probably my most intriguing first round series of the two. I know.
Well, they're also only 3 games, so
right, yeah,
elimination game.
It's a 1-1-1.
Yeah, it's a 1-1-1.
Crazy.
I think
this is absolutely insane.
I think some of them are on Tuesday too, so it's like quick turnaround.
A day of travel, and then getting right into game 2. That's tough. And I know, the Valkyrie are going to play their playoff games at the SAP Center. They were talking about that a little bit during the game, which is
really
interesting. Yeah, they're playing at the SAP Center for the playoffs. I'm not sure if it was, there's clearly some sort of scheduling conflict with Chase Center. I wasn't sure if it was, just they literally didn't book it in time, or they actually have something physically booked for that date. But yeah, the Valkyrie will host their playoff game at the SAP Center in San Jose. So that should be interesting. I don't know if they've ever actually had basketball out there before at the SAP Center. It's a freaking amazing arena. I love the SAP Center. But yeah, I don't know if I would think of it necessarily for basketball. It shouldn't be bad or anything. It is still an arena. It's, got 2 decks, I believe. It should work totally fine, and especially for a WNBA crowd, it honestly might be perfect for it. But thought that was definitely an interesting wrinkle when it comes to the WNBA playoffs. And another wrinkle, as we are talking about wrinkles, and the Jonathan Kuminga thing, Kyle and I were just talking through the break, and it's just the one thing about the Kaminga, I guess, power move of all of this is something that Kyle and I have been really intrigued with is, this just typically doesn't happen when it comes to when it comes to non-stars in the NBA. It's usually the stars that are the ones that in this player empowerment era, if you will, as everyone likes to call it, the players, especially the star players, tend to get what they want. Kevin Durant wants out of Brooklyn. He gets out of Brooklyn. He wants out of Phoenix. He gets out of Phoenix. James Harden wants out of Houston. He puts on a fat suit. And so I think that even to an extent, Ben Simmons is probably a closer example to this Kaminga thing. And the one part that Kyle pointed out that I think is the most true is in these negotiations, the real way to get what you want is to make things as ugly as possible. And I just think a lot of players don't want to do that, especially, and again, if you're not a star player, it feels like you run the risk of getting blackballed. And I get it. It just feels like, obviously, Kuminga is in a better situation where he still has value. It's how big of a headache can you be while still being a good player? And usually we have to play that game when it comes to off the court extracurriculars. But I think when it comes to Kuminga right now, it's more of this dude is clearly feeling himself. Whether it's justified or not, this dude thinks that he is a certain caliber of player. He thinks he has a certain value that he just will not accept anything less than. And I think I was telling, I don't know if it's 5 years. I don't know if it's 10 years ago. But in the not so distant past, the conversation about this Jonathan Kuminga thing would not have been as light as it is. It would not be as understanding as it is. It would not be me being able to go on these airwaves and say, wow, shout out Jonathan Kuminga for playing leverage and actually executing it to the highest level, or to a high level, to the point where he has many different options, and his options are only getting better as he gets closer and closer to this deadline. It's just strange that he's able to kind of skate that line of I know I have value, but I'm going to make this messy, and I'm going to maybe damage my reputation a little. And Kyle pointed out to me, and it's 100% true. There's still some people out there who are 100% saying, where does this guy get off? Who does he think he is? You're on the Warriors, dude. The Warriors made you. You should be thankful to be on the Warriors. And that also might be true. That also definitely might be true. But you just don't see guys play this kind of game. And again, Ben Simmons is probably the closest comp where his value was something. The Kings, funny enough, were smack dab in the middle of those conversations too.
They landed James Harden for him, even with all of it.
Crazy.
They got him in 2 seconds, even though he was playing with a phone in his pocket.
And that was the ugly moment that I was referring to, is that, he had to show up to practice in sweatpants with his phone in his pocket in order to finally get the Sixers, who had just killed. I mean, the city of Philadelphia was open season on Ben Simmons that offseason.
Is he the most hated athlete in Philadelphia?
Yes. I remember that offseason seeing a news broadcast, just a Philadelphia ABC 7 or something, having a news broadcast of a flood. And it was, here's recently found footage of Ben Simmons going down Main Street. And it was legitimately
a trash
can being swept away in the middle of I don't know if it was a natural disaster. It was a flood. And they were here to make jokes about Ben Simmons getting out of town. It's just crazy. They hated that, man.
Which people don't even remember. Like, the phone incident was during training camp.
Yes.
He didn't get traded till January.
Yes,
like, he didn't play half a season. And
because he had to stand on business, to your earlier point.
And I mean, he already had his money at that point. So his was just, I refuse to go back here.
Yes.
After I passed the ball on an open dunk that cost us the playoffs.
Herder, man. Shout out Kevin Herder, who jumped on that Game 7 opportunity and ran with it and got a contract.
I actually think, like, looking back on it now, biggest upset in the NBA playoffs of the last
100%.
10 years.
The Falcons. The Hawks had no business being in that Eastern Conference Finals, and it's one of those Blazer Eastern Conference Finals trips where it kind of ends up ruining like the next 2-3 years of your run because you're so fixated on we are a conference finals team, and it's maybe like you have a little bit more room to grow. But I mean, this Kuminga thing is absolutely crazy. And again, my bigger point is that it's surprising to me that we are at a point in, I guess, sports fandom where the conversation isn't focused on how big of a prima donna he is or how big of a situation he's making himself over the team. Or again, why wouldn't you want to just, you should if to play with Steph Curry, I would play for free like that. Those are the type of conversation, the kind of hot takes that I feel like we would have seen again, like 5 years ago, even from this saga.
Just to close a loop on something we talked about earlier, apparently the Ryder Cup of tennis is being held at the Chase Center in San Francisco this weekend. So that's why the Valkyries are getting moved. Yes.
That actually sounds kind of sick.
You want to go see Carlos Alcaraz in San Francisco? He's there this weekend.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah.
Like that actually sounds really sick. Have they done that?
They do it every year, but they do it in different places.
Okay, yeah.
So
I was like, I don't even.
One
think
year
I
it's
knew
in
you could
America,
play
one year
tennis
it's in
a
Europe.
stadium or an arena like that.
Yeah. So it's like
That's
one
incredible.
court.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like singles matches, and it's interesting.
God bless the Valkyrie of 18,000 a night, but like I could see how maybe that event you would say, look, like they might make the playoffs, but we should definitely try and book this if we can.
Yeah, Valkyries play Wednesday night and the game's Thursday morning, so they can't turn the court around quick enough.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you for that information. That is very, very useful information. As again, the Valkyrie will play their second playoff game against the Minnesota Lynx, who, I mean, if you ask me, the Lynx look absolutely incredible. Offense and defense. Really, their defense is absolutely nuts. Courtney Williams, absolute monster. But yeah, the Valkyrie will be playing their playoff games at the SAP Center in San Jose and not at Chase Center in San Francisco. So there you go. That is wrapping a bow on the Jonathan Kuminga thing. And it's time in this next segment to get a little bit spicy. We're going to get a little bit more traditional with our radio program here, and we're going to go with a little bit of a rumor report. Who doesn't love a good rumor report? And there's tons of rumors in here, and one that me and Kyle were talking about during one of the breaks that is just I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick of it. What am I getting sick of? You'll find out on the other side. Alan Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water, but you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Into 11/1 select models only.
Hit the field during Sky River Casino's $400,000 touchdown for a truck giveaway. Play slots and table games daily to earn entries. Then join in on the action every Saturday for a chance to score up to $15,000 in free play or a brand new 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500. Visit skyriver.com to see how you can get 100 bonus entries every Tuesday and Friday. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or over.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Holy onions! For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
I'm tired of being broken. I'm sick of feeling hopeless. Way down here at my lowest. At the end of my rope. At the end of my rope. So what do I do? So what do I do?
Hey, this is Jelly Roll. This National Recovery Month, start your recovery journey. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at choosechangec.org.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Chris Watkins filling in for Alan Stiles. I felt like I started my name a little long, so I had to go Alan's a little long. Start off with some housekeeping here, some literal housekeeping, as I'm going to complain a little bit about work standards. Our microwave up here, it's a joke. Like, to little inside baseball, I used to work pretty much daily, like in the office. Especially, and then when I was doing the show, obviously I would be here every single morning. And, you know, I'm a team player. I understand that People got jobs. People don't think about, keeping their coworkers happy. That microwave, absolutely disgusting. I just heated up some food, left it in there for a couple breaks. Sorry. Disgusting. Other number 2 thing, I was the person who would bring up the knives, forks, plastic, all that stuff and put it into a cup up near the microwave because I don't want to walk all the way downstairs to our kitchen, and it's just a hassle, especially when you're doing a show. Sometimes you only have 3 minutes to heat something up. I don't have time to go downstairs and grab a fork. Long story short, my question is, what happened to being a good coworker? What happened to in off at Colin? And this is not on you because that is where you are at, your little behind the glass. That is your sanctuary. I'm sure that's a whole separate set of politics that I don't even want to know what happens with you guys.
Oh, you mean the workspace, the shared workspace? The
shared workspace that people bring food into and XYZ share headphones, don't wipe them down.
It's also not great that this studio is literally 6 feet by 12 feet too.
Maybe. Yeah, in terms of even usable space, smaller.
Yeah. First point number 1, we got to just get rid of that microwave.
I think that's probably at this point especially.
Yeah. Number 2, I don't bring the forks up anymore because I heat my stuff up downstairs. Sure. So I just grab a fork as I go.
Okay.
But there used to be a bunch of forks here, which was appreciated.
Well, you were welcome at the time. Also, I didn't even mention, we have a mini fridge full of kombuchas from somebody who hasn't worked here and legitimately looking at my wall a year.
Yeah.
And there is a legit 12-pack of kombuchas in that mini fridge that have been sitting there fermenting for a year.
That one is insane. The fact that nobody, you know what, maybe after the show we just throw out the kombuchas.
It seems like one of those things that's just everybody is deeming not their problem. And which I guess, to your point, it becomes somebody's problem, but I'd rather it not be.
I think at first it was it's not ours and this person doesn't work here anymore, so we probably shouldn't touch it. But now I think enough time has passed that it's I think we can get rid of it.
We honestly might just mini fridge and the microwave just all in one, pick it up.
Yeah, but then we're out of mini fridges here, except for the one that Chris Verlot has that he gatekeeps.
He gatekeeps very, very hard. So there's a little bit of housekeeping, I guess, quite literally when it comes to the KHTK studio. So I hope you all enjoyed a little bit of insight into our daily life here over at the Sporty 1140. And now let's move on to a segment I'm very excited for. Let's get into a little rumor report. Who doesn't love a little tea, huh? Who doesn't love a little bit, just like a little skosh of when things are going bad? Shout out to Dell also for this great song. We're going to start off. I briefly teased it a little earlier. Patrick Beverley, and I don't think this is new completely. I think it's just resurfaced with obviously all the Pablo Torre stuff that has been found out, which, by the way, again, we said it on Friday. Come Monday, Pablo's probably going to find out more. Pablo, over the weekend, had a signed statement from the Aspiration CFO, the ex-COO and CLO, Chief Legal Officer and Operating Officer, as well as the ex-CTO, because, again, a lot of the naysayers in Pablo's reporting have been, well, you're just getting a bunch of anonymous people who are fired from a job, so they might be salty, and they're not putting their names on it, and they're altering their voice, so how trustworthy really are these people? Which is crazy, because Pablo had 9 sources, and people are just upset. People have gotten away with less, or gotten away with more while having much less.
Some of which were current employees.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. So Pablo, yet again, is tripling, quadrupling down on his reporting as he should, by the way. It seems pretty ironclad. I mentioned all of that to say this now resurfaces. Patrick Beverley on his show that I'm sure Alan can't stand had this to say about his negotiations in free agency with the Clippers in a huge offer that he turned down from one Sacramento Kings.
So I signed my deal with the Clippers, right? I got a 3-year, $50 million from Sacramento. And I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I want to stay Clippers. So I take the 3-year, $40 million from the Clippers. We go to the meeting at the Ritz in Marina Del Rey, and we agreed to the 3-year, $40. And Steve Ballmer goes, with that, I'm going to give you 94 basketball courts that you could choose to put all around LA. That's fire as I think they built 2 of them, and then COVID hit. So I hit my agent like, what's up with those 92 basketball courts?
What's
I
up
see
with
they
those
just built the
92?
arena worth $2 billion. Like,
Yeah, what's the answer? Let's go with the courts, Steve.
do I get my 92 courts? And we shook on it too.
Steve,
I need 92 more courts to overall.
I love that. So where my 92 courts at? For real though, I mean, I don't know how legal or above ground that is for Steve Ballmer to guarantee. Like, it seems kind of like a charity thing, so I'd imagine it's probably all.
If anyone knows how to write off taxes, it's Steve Ballmer.
Right, which is probably more so what it is. To your point, yeah, that's a lot of community work. That's public. Like, it's
I'd say that
the chestnut checkers.
For people who don't know, Steve Ballmer hasn't paid taxes since 2015.
Really,
Yes.
unsurprising.
Yeah, just so you know, Steve Ballmer's accountants are doing God's work.
More than the salary cap is what you're saying.
Steve Ballmer's accountants have been doing God's work.
Gotcha. Heard. So there you go. Patrick Beverley saying he turned down a 3-year, $50 million deal from the Kings. I'd imagine that was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe, yeah, that timeline works out. And instead took a 3-year, $40 million from the Clippers, which, again, probably has more to do with the Clippers situation versus the Kings situation than the actual additional benefits. But nonetheless, yet again, ties to Sacramento and also ties to probably the biggest story in basketball right now, and that's the Steve Ballmer aspiration stuff that's going on. Which one should we get? Should we get to the snippet? Okay, let's go to the snippet here. Everybody's least favorite rivalry of all time, one Aubrey Drake Graham against DeMar DeRozan. We saw it play out in Toronto this year. Drake had some weird comments on the broadcast and then threw some subliminals at DeMar. DeMar has shaken it all off and pretty much been like, that guy can say whatever he wants, whatever. Drake is not done, and he dropped a snippet of a song this weekend, and a lot of people, I mean, you really don't have to connect many dots. A lot of people are saying this is about DeMar DeRozan.
Wrong on the call. I sent him a set because I wanted you shit to the king. When you was a part of the team, we used to be planning our Mexico trip in the spring. We must have been dealing the spur of the moment. Cold we think you could get us a ring. You're begging about how you went home. The day home. Cody, we threw him away. J-Pop sent us a rim on the video. And next thing we knew, we was doing for real.
So there you go. For those who couldn't quite hear it, I'll read it out for you. It said at the beginning of there, quote, I sent him a sack because I wanted you shipped to the king. Obviously, sack kings there. Then goes on to say, this is the most Drake line possible. When you was part of the team, we used to be planning our Mexico trips in the spring, which is just like, you know what I'm really hurt by? Our buddy vacations. We don't plan those anymore. Like, what's up with us? We used to be vacation buddies, and now we're not.
I will say it is a good joke just because he's saying like we would go to Cancun because we would lose in the playoffs.
I didn't pick that part up. That's good. That's not bad.
It's a good line.
I'm going to give Drake the benefit.
Mexico trip in the spring. He's saying Cancun in May because the Raptors would lose in the playoffs.
All right, that's clever. I'll give you that, Aubrey. And then the spur of the moment, Kawhi, did we think you would get us a ring? Again,
I really like that.
That was not bad. I can't lie.
Because instead of why he shortened it to Kawhi.
Yes. And like
that's pretty good.
If anything cuts through to DeMar DeRozan, it's probably that. Is the fact that he was Mr. Toronto. He was, I mean, a lesser caliber Dame Lillard to Toronto. And the second they shipped him out, they got the right guy in there, won them a championship the next year with his best friend, Kyle Lowry, still there.
Yeah, but like, that's the one thing you can bash DeMar DeRozan for.
100%.
Which, sure, Drake.
It's good wordplay. That's more what I'm saying about it.
Sure, but you picked the one thing people can bag DeMar DeRozan on, which is not even DeMar DeRozan's fault.
Not his fault at all. Not his fault.
That the Raptors won a championship without him.
No. I mean, it's not his fault at all. It's just the one thing that if I had to think, I wouldn't even think DeMar cares about any of this. I think he's just not knowing anything about the intricacies of the situation. To me, it just very much seems like DeMar picked his side. And, Drake might have been a nice friend to have when he was in Toronto, but I just don't think that Drake, clearly Drake feels like they were like actually friends, but I just don't really think DeMar cares about any of this. So I guess we'll stay tuned for when the Kings head to Toronto. I can check the schedule and get you that date on the other side of the break, where we get into some headline news and go over everything that you missed over the weekend and get you caught up. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Discover Terra Madre Americas, one of the world's most exciting food events, coming to Northern California for the first time this September 26th through 28th. Dig into good, clean, and fair food for all with chefs Alice Waters, Sean Sherman, and Jeremiah Tower. Hear music from The War on Drugs, Spoon, Big Head Todd and the Monsters, Jade Bird, and Passion Pit Solo Acoustic. Savor the journey of Terra Madre Americas, only in Sacramento. Details on TerraMadreUSA.com. Terra Madre Americas is supported by Sacramento International Airport and brought to you by Slow Food and Visit Sacramento.
The final days of Sacramento Rivercats baseball season are here, and you don't want to miss the action. Whether you're looking for an exciting night with friends or a special night with the family, there's no better place than Sutter Health Park. Join us from September 16th through the 21st as we celebrate giveaways, special theme uniforms, Fan Appreciation Day, and more. Get your tickets at rivercats.com before the season ends.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal. You should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Paid for by Action Matters.
Attention former and present inmates of women's prisons in California. If you are currently or were an inmate of Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, also known as Chowchilla Women's Facility, Valley State Prison for Women in Chowchilla, Institute for Women in Chino, or Folsom Women's Facility in Represa, and were a victim of sexual abuse, now is the time to come forward, as you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. If you were an inmate at any of these prisons at any time and were subjected to sexual abuse from staff members, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation. Call our California Women's Prison Helpline now at 800-408-1240. The deadline to file a claim may be close. Call now to get the justice, closure, and the financial settlement you deserve. Even if it was long ago, call our law firm's Women's Prison Sexual Abuse Helpline right now at 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240. 800-408-1240.
KHDK HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140. Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
It is here. That's so hard to not just like go in on the song. I know Dave would hate it, but just give my own rendition.
Give me the loot.
Give me the loot. I would pay. I feel like I would be a really good ad-lib guy. I could like really crush whatever. I don't know. Like, give me a Rick Ross grunt or something. Oh. I mean, I can do my Jay-Z. Yeah, the big X the plug. That's a really good. I guess that'd be my DJ tag or something. You know? It's like, yeah. Yeah. I miss those days. I'll be joined by Whitey Gleason in about 45 minutes for some crosstalk. For those who are unaware of what that sound is, that is me trying to be, one of those people who are walking through the stands of what's their like official title? It's
vendors?
Vendors, I guess it would be like a stadium vendor, I guess. With the ones who walk up and down the aisles, the sections, and are trying to get you to buy the churro and stuff.
Look, he's not listening right now, but I just got to say, shout out to the guy at the A's game, the churro guy, who he will do like parodies of songs with churros.
Really?
Yeah, he's great. You know the Foo Fighters songs like "There Goes My Hero."
Yes, yeah.
He'll go, "There goes my churro."
Incredible.
Love that guy.
Incredible. And again, A's, you get an F on your marketing because that's the kind of thing that's getting me out to the ballpark.
But here's the thing, he's so loud too that like when he does it,
I'm sure you can hear him on the broadcast.
Yes, he's so good. Anyways, we all love the churro guy. Like, it's just a thing every game. We all laugh every time the churro guy comes.
Because it's always random. It'll be like, middle of the fourth inning or something. You won't even have thought about him all game, and then you'll just hear it, and you're like, there he is.
There goes my churro. Watch them as they go. He's so good, man. Shout out. I know he's not listening, but shout out to... If
anybody's listening who knows him, just let him know that he is appreciated and well-respected.
Yeah, Churro...
Game-recognized game.
Churro Man at the A's game has been the MVP this season.
Undoubtedly. So,
Grounds crew number 1, Churro Man number 2.
Grounds crew they are like Jimmy Butler in that picture from the bubble where he's just like leaning over, like gasping for air. That is the Sutter Health Park, as I continue to try to not call it Rayleigh Field. That is their grounds crew. It's just putting in overtime on the overtime. And I mean, we haven't heard anything about it, which I think that definitely fits under the no news is good news, that we have heard nothing about the A's playing surface all year.
Except for that one time Pablo Lopez got hurt and we just don't talk about it.
That's right. Yeah, the mound. And I know there was also like the first couple weeks, like left field was incredibly, like it was like a swamp out there in the dirt. I think that's gotten fixed.
I think ever since so they had to move a River Cats series to like redo the field, basically. Mm-hmm. It seems like ever since then it's been fine.
Interesting. Well, that's good. Again, no news I think is good news to report when it comes to the groundskeepers or issues that could potentially happen with the amount of use. As you mentioned, Kyle, the River Cats only have about a week left of games, so they got through the worst of it at least. Both of those two teams playing seems to be relatively successful for sure. So let's get into some of the headlines from over the weekend just to get you caught up on anything you may have potentially missed. Of course, starting off with not really like national headlines or anything, but again, just getting you caught up on the Niners in case you couldn't watch on Sunday. They took down the New Orleans Saints. Niners put up 344 total yards of offense. They went 8 of 15 on third down, still put up 26 points. Granted, against the Saints, I think it's still impressive considering no Kittle, no Purdy. Juwan Jennings was banged up. I mean, Jake Tungus was someone that we were supposed to get excited for this Niners offense. So I think the fact that they were able to move the ball, they get their stars the ball still. Juwan Jennings had some big catches. Ricky Pearsall continues to look like he's progressing. Christian McCaffrey gets his touchdown. Still hasn't looked like Christian McCaffrey necessarily. He did have one run where you saw a little bit of explosion from him, but overall, he hasn't looked like the MVP Christian McCaffrey by any stretch. He had 13 carries, 55 yards, And then I mentioned that 7-yard touchdown reception from Mac Jones, a nice little lob to a wide open Christian McCaffrey. With that touchdown, absolutely insane. Christian McCaffrey, as we were talking on Friday about who are the top running backs of this era, Christian McCaffrey undoubtedly in that top 5. McCaffrey joins Hall of Famers Marshall Faulk and Lenny Moore as the only players in NFL history with 50 rushing touchdowns and 30 receiving touchdowns. Incredible. And again, Christian McCaffrey, somebody who you would say hasn't even reached his career potential, was not reached because of injury. So when you think about just how good of a player he could straight up be if he would have remained healthy throughout the prime of his career, you could call it. I think you could argue that he's starting the other half of his career right now. But I mean, Marshall Faulk is the one that I can relate to. Don't know much about Lenny Moore. That was before my time. Marshall Faulk he was the guy. And I mean, I really think Christian McCaffrey perfectly encapsulate that. Of course, Marshall Faulk spent some time with the Colts and then the Rams with the greatest show on turf. And McCaffrey, I mean, he doesn't have those prolific offenses to really thank. I mean, it really has been all Christian McCaffrey in both of his situations. In Carolina, of course, he had a couple years with Cam, but especially since he's came here to San Francisco, it has been the way I called him Atlanta Robinson earlier, with how Bijan is just taking on the load in Atlanta. McCaffrey has been just their offense. I mean, since he arrived. And, absolutely one of the top 5, undoubtedly. Top 3 is I feel even more secure saying McCaffrey has just been one of the best, if not the best running back of these past 5 to 10 years.
I just Googled Lenny Moore stats.
Please.
Jesus,
I don't really know anything. Can you give us
crazy.
Give us a nice little spark notes on Lenny Moore.
For example, in his rookie season in 1956.
Okay, 50. Oh, okay. So I'm super unfamiliar with Lenny Moore.
Yeah, Lenny Moore played from 56 to 67 for the Baltimore Colts.
Okay.
Who were pretty good at that time. For example, his rookie season, he rushed for 7.5 yards per attempt. For reference, Saquon Barkley last year in maybe the greatest running back season we've ever seen was 5.8.
Again, to bring back previous conversations, that's like Derrick Henry high school numbers there.
Derrick Henry high school numbers were probably bigger.
Insane.
Yes, probably way more.
Okay.
But yeah, Lenny Moore, 5-time first team All Pro. Wow. Dude was out here killing it. Averaged. For his career, averaged I'm just looking up here, 5 yards per carry for his career. If you average 5 yards per carry in the NFL today, you're insane.
I mean, you're not even. It's not even. You're the best running back in the league.
Your offense, it's like you're Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
that averaged 5 yards per carry for his career.
That's peak
insane.
Adrian Peterson type stuff. So.
Let's see.
Shout out Lenny Moore.
63 rushing touchdowns, 48 receiving touchdowns in his career.
Okay. Well, so there you go. So McCaffrey joins Lenny Moore, who we are now way more educated on, and Marshall Faulk as the only players, not just running backs players, which of course it's only going to be running backs in NFL history with 50 rushing touchdowns and 30 receiving touchdowns. Just got that 30th catch on Sunday. The Niners will play the 2-0 Cardinals at home for their home opener Sunday at 1:25 at Levi's. As we mentioned earlier, Brock Purdy still questionable, I guess, would be the designation you give for him right now. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of positive signs trending towards Brock playing. But again, the conversation leaving last week was that Brock progressed quite a bit during that week. And so I guess they're still leaving the door open. But I would not anticipate the Niners going with Brock Purdy, especially now that they have that 2-0 window. The Niners opened when I checked yesterday. They were 1.5-point underdogs, which I thought was interesting, especially, again, at home. I guess it could be as simple as, the Cardinals have their full staff of offensive weapons, and obviously the Niners have the complete opposite. The Cardinals week 1 get a win against the Saints. We saw how quality that was. And then week 2 against the Panthers. So I think we just really don't have any gauge as to how, again, when it comes to the 2-0 teams, more specifically, where the Cardinals really fit.
Also, the other interesting thing, the entire Cardinals cornerback room got hurt on Sunday.
Did they really?
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes for him. Yeah. I think Max Melton was left in a boot. Garrett Williams got friendly fired at the end of the game. Another guy got hurt at some point. So their entire cornerback room might be out. And we already know the Cardinals' corners are usually not good.
You correctly pointed out many times on Friday that the Cardinals are just not known for defense, period, especially not in the past 25 years. And doesn't seem – I don't know how big of an impact it'll have. Again, the Niners have Mac Jones at quarterback. Juwan Jennings was a little banged up. Who knows how much that's going to play a factor. But I mentioned Kyler Murray, his career against the Niners, 4-4 as a starter against the Niners, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The big thing that really stuck out, especially more so when compared to the other NFC West opponents that he faces in Seattle and in the Rams, 52.5 rush yards per game when playing the Niners. That is significantly more than the other two divisional opponents, which I think is noteworthy because, of course, Kyler Murray's going to run. If you play him twice a year, you would think you would have a good strategy. The other two teams in the division seem to be pretty good at keeping him contained. Niners have not been good at keeping Kyler Murray contained. They also just in general tend to struggle with running quarterbacks in general. So I don't know. I think the window is definitely open for, I guess it wouldn't be an upset this week, but for the Niners to lose their home opener. I don't really believe in the Cardinals, but they also have a similar strength of schedule to the Niners. And so if they can get through this one, I think you start to hear a lot about the Cardinals. And if the Niners win it, I think it's just going to be ho-hum. They're expected to win it, and not much is going to be made. So it's not really fair. It's not really even for the Niners, but that's the curse, I guess, of being as good as the Niners have been these past.
Both teams beat the Saints by a touchdown, and Spencer Rattler had a chance to win both games.
I was going to say, and yeah, both of those teams being in that situation, again, to me is why they were lead answers for earlier in the show when we asked who is the worst, I guess, of the 2-0 teams. Who's the most fraudulent of the 2-0 teams? Two of my answers were the Cardinals and the Niners. And let's move on to the Canelo Crawford fight, which, of course, was absolutely massive on Saturday. I had to bring my tablet to Country in the Park to make sure I wasn't going to miss any of it. I didn't miss a second of it. As we know, Terrence Crawford won by unanimous decision, 116-112, and then 115-113 on two of the other judges' cards. Crawford became the undisputed super middleweight champion, making him the first male boxer in history to hold undisputed titles in all three different weight classes. Crawford improved to 42-0, while Canelo drops to 63-3-2, with all three losses being by decision. Still, both those men have never been knocked down to the canvas in any capacity, so that streak still continues for both of those guys. It was an incredible fight. It really was, especially for Terrence Crawford. I mean, we all know Canelo has way more hype going into that fight. Everyone was saying this is Terrence Crawford's time to really put his stamp or a big stamp on his resume with Canelo Alvarez. And I mean, he absolutely did it in a perfect way. I mean, if you're talking about having a game plan and executing it to perfection, especially in a sport like boxing where, as Mike Tyson famously said, everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face. For Terrence Crawford to, I would say I think Canelo was definitely leaning on his power and expecting one of these shots is going to connect with Terrence Crawford and it's going to back him up and he's going to start operating with some fear. But I think the broadcast team, which was incredible, John Anik, who was it? It was not Mannix, Kellerman, Max Kellerman, and Andre Ward. I thought they pointed out really well that Terrence Crawford was not just unbothered by a lot of Canelo's shots. And I think that's the big reason why Crawford was just able to kind of stay in the pocket there. And, he definitely was feeling himself at points in that fight, but for the most part, was willing to trade blows with Canelo Alvarez. And it was a fantastic fight. Again, I think they're expecting 65+ million viewers worldwide on Netflix, which is insane. I mean, I again, Netflix is definitely the kind of platform to have this kind of mega fight on because just literally everybody has it and it's super accessible. But I think the more kind of big, huge events that we can have as publicly accessible as that. I mean, honestly, I would love to know the numbers of like Netflix subscriptions these days versus cable subscriptions, because there's probably an argument that Netflix is the biggest platform that you could put yourself on. I mean, obviously from a, cable, you get 300 plus channels. Netflix, it is, you open the app and it's right there. I don't know if there's a better stage for sports right now.
Is Netflix the biggest streaming service in your mind?
Yeah.
Because if it is, then
Disney, if not, but I would still put Netflix.
But Disney Plus,
spiritually, I would put Netflix.
Yeah. And Disney Plus isn't really doing live events in the same way. So
I'm sure they will at some point.
I'm sure they will, but unless you're, I mean, this is kind of the equivalent of putting it on HBO back in the day, right? Is like,
except it's for free.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, HBO, you would have either had to pay for HBO, if not, I could be mistaken because it was a little before my time, but I think they were still pay-per-view events as well. So it's like you have to have the HBO channel and or you would have to pay for the $70 for pay-per-view.
I'm ignorant about boxing and the fighting sports in general. I just assumed it was a pay-per-view on Saturday. Yeah. I'm like, how can a fight this big not be pay-per-view? And then I was like, oh no, you just have to have Netflix.
You have to have Netflix, who is like, we have so much money, we're getting so much benefit from this. We actually don't need to charge people because, to your point, ESPN Plus for the UFC, it would say, hey, get ESPN Plus to get access to have permission to pay $70 for the pay-per-view, which a lot of people were like, I'm paying $12 a month for ESPN Plus minimum. Why am I paying an additional $70 to get a numbered UFC fight?
Which is why the UFC is now going to Paramount, where it is going to be basically just buy Paramount Plus for, I don't know, $12.99 a month, and then you have access to all UFC.
No, and to your point about just assuming that this would have been some sort of pay-per-view event, I think with the UFC moving to the Paramount Plus, to me, this pay-per-views are dead. Like, there's no way you can't go back on this, right? Like, there's no way you can say, we've been giving you guys free content. Now we're going to go back on what it was and
free at a reduced price,
there's no way they can go back on it. So absolutely huge fighting weekend in general.
You watch the fight? Do they also sell like advertise, like they run commercials during it?
I don't believe they ran commercials. There's a chance they did the NFL Red Zone thing. I don't even think they did though, where it's like a box in a box type thing. I don't even think they did that.
Interesting.
So if I had to guess, I mean, the money was just made off of physical advertisement. It would be my guess, ring advertisement. I don't think there was any on the shorts or anything, but I feel like they just made their money elsewhere, or just getting that many people to sign up for Netflix maybe is enough benefit in general for them. But absolutely huge fight weekend. Always interesting when these, McGregor, Mayweather fights or Mayweather Pacquiao, there's been a couple in my adult lifetime of, hey, I know we can all agree that boxing or fighting isn't what it used to be, but this is still like a sit down, you have to be watching type of event. And I still think it's really fun for us all to kind of get a little bit of a shared experience, right? Like, especially not to psychoanalyze, but with TV and no more appointment television, it's like, how many things can we really come in on Monday and guarantee my coworker who, we don't talk about, we don't really have much in common. There's not really much that I can guarantee we can share a 5-minute water cooler conversation with. And it feels like these big events like that is at least something where we can still have Super Bowls, of course.
It's this and Severance.
It's literally, Severance, Game of Thrones, and these big pay-per-view and Super Bowls.
Well, and you could find 4 people.
Super Bowls might be I say pay-per-view's dead. If there is going to be a return to pay-per-view, it's going to be Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you could also find those 4 people that were super into Succession for a while.
Succession's pretty good. To be fair, so you
didn't even
watch the last season. I still to this day have not finished the last season.
Okay, well that's the point. Like, people who were really into Succession, they were like, sit down every Sunday. We're watching this type of stuff.
Absolutely.
But it was not the same broad appeal. I think a lot of those HBO shows kind of too are like that, where you can find someone
Game
who's
of Thrones,
interested in
all of them.
Yeah, whatever. The Last of Us.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Ted Lasso, I guess you could say. Severance was like that.
Severance was kind of the one. It would drop every Friday. People would get into it.
I saw Severance killed at the Emmys this weekend. For those who still care about the Emmys, Or Emmys, man. Emmys are just like it's not an Oscar, it's not a Tony, it's not.
But also the thing that happens now is like the same show just wins all the awards.
Yeah, right.
It's
Game
like
of Thrones will win 700. I think the morning, or what was it? The Studio won,
Yeah.
I think 13.
Studio will win.
Yeah.
The Studio and Severance will clean up, and then the year before it was like Ted Lasso and The Bear will win all the awards, and then it's just the same show wins every year.
That's how it goes. NBA changing rules a little bit. This is a really small tweak, and some are really bothered by it. It wouldn't surprise me if actually I think Whitey already said he's not a fan of it. But the NBA will no longer count last second. Let me get the wording on here. NBA will implement a rule change in the upcoming season to record missed end of period heaves as team field goal attempts rather than individual attempts. All that's essentially saying is, if somebody takes a full court shot with I think it has to be under 3 seconds left on the clock on the other side of the half court, so not, obviously in the front court. So still in the back court, under 3 seconds, if you take a shot, it will no longer count towards your field goal percentage, which none of the layman's fans care about. It's really only something that can maybe affect a player in like contract negotiations and or contract incentives. If I shoot 50% from the field this year, I get $250,000 extra in my bonus. So I'm not going to take those end of quarter heaves, because if I take 10 of them and I miss all 10, that could end up being the difference of me getting that bonus or not. It's stupid. I don't like it, but that's how the mentality has been. The NBA is trying to remove that mentality and essentially have it be a free shot, if you will. Again, it'll still count towards the total team field goal percentage, but in terms of an individual, it won't show that Chris Watkins was 0 of 1 from the game because he took a half-court heave right before halftime. Wrapping up the headlines here, the Milwaukee Brewers are the first team to clinch a playoff spot. They knocked down the NL Central, and on the same breath, the Giants, after they won 2 of 3, I think, against the Dodgers over the weekend. They sit a game and a half behind the last wild card spot. I would love to hear Alan's thoughts on that. You can check him out on Locked On Giants, of course, but I think
I saw a breaking news episode this afternoon, so I know what Alan's been doing.
Well, I'm assuming he was talking about Bryce Eldridge, who got called up late last night. It got announced that Bryce Eldridge would be called up for this week's games. I think they play like 5 right-handed pitchers or something like that. So they're trying to make it as easy as possible for the young slugger who has been absolutely dominating the minors. Eldridge batting .248, nothing special, but 18 home runs in AAA Sacramento, 283 average with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs his last 12 games this month. He's expected to join the Giants on Monday in Arizona. I know a lot of Giants fans have just been waiting for this moment where Bryce Eldridge comes up. He finally will, and it'll be interesting to see, as we talked about Nick Curts earlier in the show, who blasted a 493-foot grand slam to center field that still hasn't landed. I think the Giants are hoping for some sort of course, like lineup boost, but it feels like this young kid could definitely give this Giants team a spiritual boost as well. We've seen what was it Drew Gilbert has done with just his antics on the sideline,
just being a crazy person.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really know what you would call that, but I think
I know what I would call it, but I can't say it.
True, fair.
I have a word for it. I just can't say it on
there is a
air.
word for it also. And yeah, we just can't say it on air. But I think my bigger point is I think that there is some value in the spirit of what he's bringing and the energy in which it kind of brings a dugout, a clubhouse in general, like especially when it felt like the Giants were floundering. They weren't meeting expectations that they had set for themselves. This little boost, I think, at the end of the season is exactly what they could use. I'm not saying it's going to work out for them, but I think this is the right mindset. And I know a lot of Giants fans have been waiting for Bryce Eldridge to come up for quite some time now. Couple more headlines as we head into the last half hour of the show. Joe Burrow out for a long time. And Sacramento stand-up Jake Browning will be taking his place. And we get you ready for Monday Night Football. You're listening to the Allen Stiles Show, Sacktown Sports.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Chrysler's Drive into Fall sales event?
Just like falling leaves, prices are falling at Hoblet. Right now, you can save up to $14,000 off MSRP on new Ram 1500 crew cabs. That's $14,000 off Motor Trend's 2025 Truck of the Year. Plus, with nearly 500 Rams available, whatever truck you need, Hoblet has it.
Well, that's got to be some of the best savings of the year on Rams, but what if I'm looking for something different?
You need to check out the Hoblet Certified Pre-Owned Supercenter with nearly 200 vehicles available and 55 under $20,000.
Experience the Hoblet difference. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
14,000 total net savings on select new Ram 1500 Bighorns after 8162 factory rebates and 5838 dealer discount. Rebates include 5816, get 10% below MSRP, 2000 SFS bonus cash, must finance with Stellantis, 500 on-the-job upfit, must show eligible upfit. 3 at this net savings, sample VIN 772979. See dealer for details.
University of Maryland Global Campus offers more than 55 flexible online certificates that provide short-term credentials and real-world skills you can use immediately. With a range of affordable undergraduate and graduate certificates in high-demand fields like business, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and healthcare, you can earn credentials quickly to help advance your career. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Everybody knows that Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the spot to get yourself a brand new car. That's why people are coming from all over. Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. But they also have the best selection of pre-owned vehicles. All makes and models, every one of them top quality, hand-selected by General Manager Chuck Dean. Over 70 vehicles below $30,000, over 25 below $20,000. You can see that full lineup at SacSuperstore.com. And if you find a lower price somewhere else, they'll match it. And on top of that, the best car buying experience anywhere. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Got about a half hour left of the program. Alan Stiles Show, Chris Watkins filling in. Sacktown Sports. Man, this is another one where I could get the ad lib. Get the hey. There you go.
So you're saying you would be good at not singing, but just the random ad-libs mixed into music.
If I could be, well, R.I.P., if I could be the third Migo, then yeah, that would be I would just let the two take the rapping part.
I mean, he's not bad.
Mama, hey.
Damn.
That's all you need.
He actually raps.
Sometimes. You don't need to though. When you got the ad libs these days, that's all you need, man. That is all you need. These kids these days. By the way, we should mention, I think we were going to get into it in our rumor report as we're talking about this a little bit. Sac State is rumored to have offered rapper, singer, and 2026 wide receiver prospect Tusi, who, frankly, to be 100% honest with all of you, Alan knew who Tusi was. Kyle knew who Tusi was. I had no idea. Never heard of him.
It's got good music. That's the slow stuff, R&B type. That's my kind of sad.
Okay,
it's kind of my vibe.
So calling him a rapper might be a little loose. Like you wouldn't necessarily say he
raps.
It's more of but it's more of an R&B.
I would call him R&B.
Okay,
he raps. I would call it R&B, but I know nowadays that gets kind of blurred.
Yes, it is very blurred.
He sings a lot of sad songs. He sings a lot of love songs, but he does also rap.
So according to the report about the Sac State offering this Tusi a scholarship, says he moved to North Carolina as a young teenager where he began his rap career. He currently has 3.6 million monthly listeners on Spotify. It's pretty much what Sacktown Sports is hitting. And even released a new single called Even Then last month. He's mostly known for songs like Favorite Song, Love Hurts, and Pull Up. Let's see here. He's listed at 5'6". I feel like I hope I'm reading that wrong. 5'6", 140 pounds on Max Preps. Be 26 years old heading into the 2026 season. So I just don't get this new age of college football. I get it. If I had to assume here without knowing his full story, I would guess that he, took a break from football to pursue his music career. And that has kind of halted him. He played high school football in Raleigh, North Carolina in 2015, where you could find his last highlights, which is just interesting. I assume this is him.
This is Favorite Song. Yes. This is his biggest.
This is his biggest song.
Yes.
When I looked at Spotify, it was pretty, by a wide margin, his most famous song.
This is his most popular song, yes.
Okay.
It's not my personal favorite, but it's very good.
Okay, well, interesting. According to On3, Granger, which is Tusi's last, I don't think I have his full name, which is my mistake, but he's already taken 2 visits, one to Maryland, one to USC, University of Southern California. Both showed interest in him. Potentially getting minutes on the field is what the reporting was. Didn't say anything about a scholarship offer. And I think the one thing that Kyle and I were talking about is just, and this is, again, I'm way more ignorant to the music side of this than just give me the raw stats or facts about the situation. I'm just nervous that, and this might be a one-off, but Sac State, I don't want them to get too into the headline game. I'd like them just it's hard to say, especially when we're talking about college kids, which should be emphasized here that in most cases, this guy's going to be 26 starting next year. So he's definitely not a kid. But if people are going to start to criticize, as Sac State gets more into the news zeitgeist of Sacramento, these guys still are kids, and maybe we give them the benefit of the doubt. If you're going to talk about their play, sure, one thing, but if you're going to talk about somebody's situation, maybe be a little bit more sensitive. I'm trying to be more sensitive. That's all to say. I'm trying to be sensitive in this topic, but to me, it just is starting to verge on headline grabbing instead of maybe actually.
This one is a little different because I tend to agree with you, right?
The Mikey Williams thing as well is something that
the worst thing Jaden Rashada did was get screwed out of a lot of money by Florida.
Yep.
It's not his fault that situation happened, and that's why he's famous 100%. As a former.
Fact, it's probably more so coach's fault than anything, right?
Well, and just it was early NIL days, and there were no contracts, things like that. I mean, not that there is now, but there's a little bit more oversight than there was.
Yeah, even 3 years ago
when Florida offered Jaden Rashada $12 million. 15. Yeah, 15. Yeah, but anyway, so I say that to say. Yeah. different cases for sure.
Yeah.
This one is like, what are we doing? We got to put our foot down somewhere. Why are we offering 2C? He doesn't need this either, right? Like
that is a fair point.
He's released
he can pay for college.
Yeah, he's released 4 studio albums already. He does not need this. Sac State doesn't need this. No. He's a 26-year-old, possibly going to play wide receiver. He wouldn't weirdly
at 5'6", 140. Also listed on Max.
He's smaller than me. And I'm the size of Devonta Smith.
I don't think anyone would say, hey, Kyle, Kyle, you have the height for it too, but I don't think anyone's going to volunteer you to play receiver even at Sac State.
It's just no way. Yeah, this one is, look, Sac State's had a couple crazy headlines and some clout chasing type of people they've brought in. You mentioned Mikey Williams. Again, you're bringing Mikey Williams in at this point because he has 3 million Instagram followers, not because he's going to revolutionize.
Sharif O'Neal,
Shakir.
Shakir.
Yeah, exactly. They've made some interesting choices with that, but this is one of those where it's like, this guy, we don't even know if he can play.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Again, I think the last highlights that are from this kid is from 2015. So I trust that Brendan Marion knows how to evaluate talent, and I won't question that part of it. But I just think it's fair to ask.
Also, somehow wouldn't be the most famous wide receiver to play for Sac State.
Ryan Coogler, yeah, come on.
Randomly, Ryan Coogler was a Sac State receiver.
It's a fair point.
What an incredible combination there.
It's pretty incredible. And while we're wrapping bows on things as well, Jake Browning is somebody I was talking about a little bit earlier, and just, he's going to be filling in the next 3 months as Joe Burrow is going to be out with a turf toe. Eric Armstead sacked Joe Burrow in the game yesterday, which resulted in Joe Burrow going down and not getting back up. I can't with social media these days, hate to sound like Alan, but sometimes I really struggle to tell what is somebody just trolling and what is actual real. Saw somebody say that the Bengals don't have carts. They just never put in money for carts, which could be, again, a joke on how frugal the Bengals can be. But at the same time, Joe Burrow did limp into the locker room with coaches, assistant coaches around him. He walked into the locker room with turf toe. I would have assumed if they had a cart available, the starting quarter, even if they have a custodian's golf cart or something. It's can we please bring that thing out for our franchise quarterback who has his 4th season-ending injury, or third? I think it's his 3rd season-ending injury in the past 4 years.
Yeah, look, anything's off limits for the Bengals. Literally, I could say the Bengals reuse jock straps, and that's a real one. In the 2000s, they literally reused jock straps. So you can't put anything past the Bengals.
Sure.
But this one seems like it just can't be true.
There's no way.
There's got to be NFLPA rules.
Yeah, right. Even just NFLPA of if somebody has to be has an air cast over their leg, he's not gonna be able to just walk that way, rub some dirt on it and walk.
But
off.
No, the Bengals are insanely cheap. But that one just can't be true.
A little bit much.
Can't be.
And so Jake Browning will be leading the way. Folsom legend, and I just wanted to make sure there hasn't been an article updated on this topic since 2021, which makes me assume that they all stand. The California high school passing career, Jake Browning, yards over 16,000. Completions, Jake Browning, 1,191. Attempts, Jake Browning, 1,708. Total touchdown passes, Jake Browning, 229. That is for California careers. In a single season, Jake Browning yards, 5,790, 2012 Folsom. Completions, 440, 2013 Folsom. Attempts, 605, 2012 Folsom, Jake Browning. And last but definitely not least, Jake Browning somehow in the 2014 season threw 91 touchdowns. He threw 91 touchdowns.
What, 13 games or something?
Single season. Yeah, if I had to guess, 13 or 14 max.
7 a game. It's crazy.
The dude was on a different level. Obviously, his pro career has not, been a seamless transition from high school. He had some good years at Washington, University of Washington. But, especially when you are quite literally statistically the greatest high school quarterback the state of California has ever seen, it hasn't lived up to that. But I think the fact that Jake Browning has carved out a nice little NFL career. He started off on the Vikings practice squad, has now, I think he's gotten 8 or 9 starts for the Bengals, and it is solid. Is he, going to be in quarterback conversations for maybe the 32nd best NFL starting quarterback? I don't think so. I think he's definitely more a backup than even remotely in a starter conversation. But I think the path that he has carved out for himself is definitely commendable and definitely something that I think is pretty awesome, considering it just didn't have to be that way. He could have just been somebody who has all of these numbers, made a practice squad, had a cup of coffee, and just never. And I guess there still is time for the cup of coffee, but I just think Jake Browning has shown things in his limited time that makes me believe that he's going to at least be a backup quarterback for the next couple of years, and we'll see what he's able to do with this Bengals roster the rest of this season. 3 months, Joe Burrow is going to be out. I would be surprised if he comes back at any point this season. He's obviously got weapons, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. We'll see what Monday Night Football is going to look like in just a couple of hours. We get Whitey Gleason in here to preview tonight's double Monday Night Football action. You're listening to the Alan Stiles Show on Sacktown Sports.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Go on a culinary adventure at one of Europe's biggest food events coming to the Americas, Terra Madre. Discover more flavors to savor, more ideas to chew on, more voices shaping the future of food. Join chefs Alice Waters, Sean Sherman, and Jeremiah Tower for tastings, pop-ups, food demos, and panels, all celebrating good, clean, and fair food for all. Terra Madre Americas, September 26th through 28th in Sacramento. Savor the journey. Visit TerraMadreUSA.com for more details. Terra Madre Americas is supported by Sacramento International Airport and brought to you by Slow Food and Visit Sacramento.
More fiber and laxatives, eh? Who are you? I'm future you. Future me? Constipation with belly pain still coming back? Our doctor figured it out. It's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, and Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that. Or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
Listen to the 49er Rewind daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be. Live and local
It's Alan Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
It's not Alan Stiles. It's Chris Watkins wrapping things up here.
There goes Pinero.
That's right. Did you hear that? Did you hear me and Kyle giving a shout out to the churro man?
No.
Oh, what
how
a
wonderful.
Weird, happy coincidence. Kyle was playing my infamous pretzels.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to people what the origin was, and I was, just trying to figure out what you would call those. Thank you. What you would call those. We settled on the word vendor.
Pretzel vendor, sure.
Yes, thank you. And Kyle pointed out, Kyle's been to way more A's games recently than I have. I think, honestly, never mind, I'm not going to say that. Kyle's been to way more A's games than I have. Shouted out the wonderful churro man that walks up and down the aisles, and just, I guess he remixes this song to.
Well, he'll do a couple different songs, but his favorite one is "Here There Goes My Hero," but he'll do "There Goes My Churro."
Oh, okay.
Watch them as they go.
Felt like in a previous life, maybe that could have been a Whitey Gleason call.
It could have been Whitey.
I never had the courage to go. Well, I was going to say I never had the courage to go into food-related parodies, but
Well, we know that you did. Yeah. Yes, you definitely did. And even today, I did the crosstalk with the morning show. The crumble cookies jingle is just. It's not there without you, but it's just not. It's just not the same without.
Well, now it's just Dave devolving more into like, hey, is the end of the world coming? Buy a crumble cookie.
I don't think people understood.
Catchy.
Me and Whitey used to talk about it all the time in our pre-show. I think Dave, I need you back in those crosstalks because Dave was just afraid of you. He was legitimately.
I don't know why, and I think he's gotten over it. But it was.
Yeah,
he would even tell me.
He'd walk on eggshells around you.
Make me so nervous. I don't know.
It's like how I explained, being around Jerry Reynolds was being around the pretty girl. It's for whatever reason he would go around you and just his body, he would just turn into a high schooler or a little boy and be like, no, don't make me. I'm sorry, I said something stupid, and Dave just. Can't help himself that one.
He outgrew it, I think. I'd like to think.
Yeah.
Then Jerry walked in one time, and I was like, who's this old guy that just walked in here?
No way. Were you there for that? No, you didn't know who Jerry Reynolds was?
I didn't know by face, no.
Okay. So once... Okay.
I knew,
you could feel the aura, though, I assume.
Yeah, I walked in at first. I was like, oh. No, he walked in the studio here. I was just like, who's this? It's like, oh, yeah, that's Jerry.
The greatest. One of, if not the greatest men to ever step on this earth. And Whitey, while we're speaking of what typically goes on your program, what is going on
Chris
today?
Watkins fan, by the way. Pardon me.
I've heard.
Is he a bigger Chiefs fan or Chris fan?
Today's probably a Chris fan.
Cool. Love that. Yeah, I guess today specifically 0-2 Chiefs. He's probably enjoying what I'm bringing more than what the Chiefs are bringing. What do you have on the show today, Whitey? Anything big? Yeah.
It's going to be a quick strike show.
Do you really have a shorter one? Monday night
double Monday Night Football.
Oh my goodness! So how long are they going to get you for?
I think we're at an hour.
3 o'clock, 3:15.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
so I'm angry.
Those are always great. So then we're getting a prime rib of
absolutely choice cut.
Yes.
I will just tell you, I'm angry at the people that are looking at yesterday and saying, "Well, that proves it." Kyle Shanahan is the one that made Brock. Without Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy's nothing, and I just that upsets me.
It's going to be fascinating. There were a lot of people who in that Mac Jones draft, or immediately after. I think I saw a segment of how to say Dan Orlovsky and Rex Ryan going back and forth on if Shanahan would have drafted Mac Jones year 3, he would look just as good as Brock Purdy does. And I think that argument happened in Brock's Super Bowl season. A lot of people are going to get that answer pretty soon here. I think it doesn't seem like Brock's going to play this week, but I don't know. What do you think of Mac Jones? It felt like if I were to kind of give him on a curve grade, it was a good performance from him, but I don't know. I mean, to me, I still saw a lot of the reasons why Mac Jones is a backup or not a starter.
Yeah, they loaded the box. Saints did, so they had to throw the ball, and he delivered, especially if you take away his first 4 incompletions. It just took me a while to get used to his throwing motion, where it almost looks like he's throwing the ball straight up in the air.
It does have a little bit of the Russell Wilson moon ball to him. Yeah. The McCaffrey touchdown, I was like, I kind of, to that point, I thought it was going to go out the back of the end zone, and then it just kind of fell right into McCaffrey's hands.
He was very good.
He was good. Yeah. I mean, I think, you take it how you can get it. It doesn't really matter. It's against the Saints. You play the Cardinals this week. It's not like they're world beaters anyway. To me, it feels like it's one of those where I've been saying it all day. They have the cushion of being 2-0 right now.
Sure.
Why would you rush Brock back to me? I mean, unless Mac just starts to, throw the ball all over the place. But to me, it's they're in a good situation. Your boy Pinheiro, I assume that you are a De Niro Pinheiro fan.
Sure.
As you come in here.
Yeah, almost. I had one foot off the wagon when he missed the PAT.
Extra point. Yeah.
But then I was back on board.
Me and Kyle believe that had to do more with the hold than anything else. We'll see. Again, I haven't seen a great replay. Could be. It could have been.
I'm going with that.
Again, I haven't watched the tape on that, but
what's interesting to me, Chris, is that Arizona, I've been looking at this upcoming game as, this will be a real challenge for the 49ers in Arizona. Obviously, they're 2-0, but I mean, they got lit up by Bryce Young in the fourth quarter.
Yes, they did. Yeah, a little concerning. And then, Kyle's pointed out too, in that week 1 game against the Saints, they are a drop ball away in the end zone from losing that one. So we really don't know how good the Cardinals are. My argument is also, I don't think we know how good the Niners are. I don't know I don't know if this week is really going to tell us anything about those two teams, except for, I guess, where they're at this current moment in time. But
one of those teams is going to be, we're not sure, but we're 3-0.
Exactly. You're 3-0. You take it where you can get it. And again, I think it probably, if we're doing the Terrence Crawford Canelo thing, who does it mean more? I guess it means more to the Cardinals to get that win, but I wouldn't be worried if I'm the Niners. Again, you have a cushion. I'm going to keep praising you for having the easiest schedule. I think they should be fine regardless of if things go good or bad this week. Well, Whitey's got a short show for you today, so you better stick around and listen to every single second of it, leading it into Monday Night Football. We have Bucks, Texans, Chargers, Raiders at 7 o'clock on ESPN, or for your listening pleasure right here on Sacktown Sports 1140. You've been listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Chris Watkins filling in for the time being.
Good job.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
The Allen Stiles Show.
The Athletics taking on Minnesota. All I know